Hello, and welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Stanton. No guest this time. It's just Mr. Masocast and me.
Straight Outta
Uh,
Stanton vanilla.
yeah. And speaking of which, I was actually watching some of our the first episode, which we never mentioned, I think, but we've been doing this for over a year now, man.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah, that's
saying.
right. 1 year of
It's
being
been
salty
happening.
motherfuckers.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, um, last episode we had was something different, man. I actually really enjoyed it. Got a lot of info. It's the best part of it was because it was somewhat unbiased. We had a dev
Yeah,
on board who is not working for CAG, so it's
yeah.
like
Never played Star
really good.
Citizen, hasn't, yeah.
Yeah,
It was I really enjoyed that actually, and,
it was a lot of fun. It was a
I'm
lot of fun.
I mean, obviously, like, Ed's like, we grew up together in the same town, went to the same high school and stuff like that, so obviously, like, he's a pretty good friend of mine, but he still surprises me sometimes when, like, he just busts out these, like, truth bombs,
Mm.
And it was,
And
yeah, I really
from a
enjoyed it.
lot of experience and working for some
Yeah,
for
yeah.
some big companies, man. Like with some
But
AAA
says it
games
so
and
well, you
whatnot.
know what I mean? Like, how some
Yeah.
people, they got that experience, but, like, they have a hard time conveying it, and, yeah, I don't know. Whatever, we're talking up Ed or whatever, but,
his
like,
his
yeah, I
internet
feel
was
like
kind of iffy, but apart from that,
yeah, yeah,
it felt like it was
super
so
informative.
easy for him to like just jump into conversation and just explain his own views and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Great things. As usual, we're gonna just start with what we did last a couple of weeks. I don't know if you have anything about that, but then I'm just gonna jump quickly over what comes after, and obviously you can see down there. You can like select certain segments if you don't want to listen to us talk about everything and anything. As you guys might know, probably there's not much happening in Star Citizen currently. It's January. They're on vacay, well deserved obviously, and there's no content coming from CIG. There's no like video content coming. There's no IC, there's no SCL, nothing like that. However, some things were happening in the game. We did not do a show for a bit, so there's some things to talk about. So within the news we have a couple of things. Gonna cover the upcoming events, a little bit about Jumptown and the 6-1, as well as that it's coming
Yep.
out.
Even though it's been
Damarelli.
yeah,
It's well, we're
it's
gonna
been
give you
beat to death.
our take, yeah, on that,
Yeah,
which
our
probably
take,
will
yeah.
will be a little bit different, anyways, as it usually is. And
Well,
then
mine's gonna be different than even before, so because, like, I've
yeah,
I've kind of, like, changed my tune about
true,
Jumptown a little bit, so,
true.
yeah.
And then
Anyways, sorry.
we're gonna talk about a couple of things. Something Maso says we touched on it before. It's all blurry for me now. We've been doing it for a while,
Yeah.
but I think it's very important to talk about it. And that's like our topic will be: should the events be removed from the game or not? Because it happens all the time. Not gonna go into it now. And then in Imagination Station, there's something that I've heard someone else talk about and mention, and that's PTU. How do we make PTU better? But probably not going to be a long episode. We always say that, but it ends up being like 4 hours. I really don't see it right now, and I think it's normal at these times to have like shorter episodes because there's nothing coming out of CIG. But yeah, so let's go with it. Do you want to start? Like, do you have anything you want to mention the last week that you've been playing any games? How are lizards? Your
Um,
zoo.
Beardies are growing really well, and the one, little yellow one that we rescued, is gaining weight now and
Yes.
seems to be through the worst of it. Like, we were almost sure she was gonna die because when we got her, she was very malnourished, she was very small for her age. She hadn't been getting the proper nutrition to, like, get, um, to shed properly. What can happen with these guys is, like, they will shed their skin partially, but some of it sticks on and it constricts blood to different areas of their body. Um, and what are we doing here?
Are you seeing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that should not happen. Okay, never mind. Silly
um
OBS. Never mind. I'm just
anyways,
rearranging my screens.
what could happen is like this it's called stuck shed, and it restricts blood flow to various parts of the body, and they will literally just go necrotic and fall off. So she was missing a bunch of toes. um
Do
Really
these
not
grow
good. Had
back? Because I know lizards that we
no,
have here,
no.
like they can grow their tail back and whatnot. But
Yeah, beardies don't get rid of their tail, and like once their toes are gone, they're gone. It's,
oh,
so she was in pretty rough shape, and had like a bunch of parasitic infections, respiratory infections. So like just really rough shape. But through, proper medication and like a ton of dedication from Leah, like she spent so much time, you know, blending up food and like feeding it via syringe, and it seems to have paid off. Like she's
nice.
gaining weight, she's active, she's now eating food by herself. Yeah, so that's really cool. Like I'm
I'm glad
glad
to
that's
hear that.
happened.
That's
I really did not expect it. I thought for sure that this little one was going to die, but they're growing well, and then we're eventually going to find new homes for them once they're kind of like in the clear, so that'll be fun.
if you guys want to
um
see some of the like Maso is very good with like posting pictures of his beardies, which are bearded lizards, dragons, on Twitter. Is our Twitter accounts are always under the video. You can check it out. If you're
yeah,
interested in his beasts, you can actually throw a follow.
mostly I just post stupid memes, but
Well, yeah, that as well, but that's fun as
yeah,
well.
yeah. But yeah, so they're doing well. We recently weighed them all and putting up. I'll be doing a Twitter post showing them all very very unhappy on the scale. But after the show. But yeah, so those are doing well. But other than that, no, I haven't been playing Star Citizen. I've been pretty jaded. But I picked up Cyberpunk again, and I've been playing
Oh yeah,
through Cyberpunk. Has a different character, different gameplay style too this time. I'm going kind of more like the hacker and crafter route, which has been pretty fun. Um, but yeah, other than that, like that's pretty much what I've been playing. Leah and I also picked up It Takes Two on the
yes,
Steam
that's
sale.
so
Played through
amazing.
that. That was really fun. Like
That's
I will
so
say
cool.
the storyline was
Uh,
questionable as
yeah,
far as like the whole like kid trying to fix the
is it
parents
is it like I
you
think
know
it's kind of inspired by I don't know. I know this. I know you're playing parents who are not really
yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah,
along.
yeah. And they like they do a bunch of things that fixes their marriage. I feel like that does send like a pretty
Eh, it is
not the
questionable.
best
You said it the best
message.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the gameplay itself was
Oh
really
my
fun.
god, it's
So
so
that
fun.
was, yeah, that was fun to play through. But yeah, other than that,
I actually
that's pretty much it.
watched Delicia, who you know Delicia. She's one of my
Yeah,
mods,
yeah,
my trusty mod.
totally.
And her friend Collector, who recently started streaming as well, and two of them playing and yelling and screaming at each other. They're not like they're not like the top end gamers. You know what I mean? Like they play
Yeah, yeah,
games
yeah.
casually and love it and enjoy, which
Yeah,
is so
yeah.
wholesome to watch. But actually, some things are very difficult. Like if you're not an avid gamer, some of these challenges are kind of difficult. Actually, it's like challenging, so to say. And it was so much fun. And them every level is kind of different. And them like overcoming these problems together was so cool to watch, man. I love that game. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty fun. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna finish Cyberpunk, and then you were showing me this Foxhole game. I guess
Yeah.
transition. That game looks pretty fun. I think I might pick that up when I'm done Cyberpunk. So
Yeah, well, I'll start with that, and it wasn't my
yeah,
plan, but I'll start with that. So I've been playing Foxhole lately. I've been playing some Eve still. I did play Star Citizen, and I'll touch on that as well. Um, so Foxhole, the game that came out in 2017, it's in beta and still in beta. It's one of those I hate that, man. Like I actually, it's kind of funny because
oh, I just realized you're playing an early access game.
see what
Oh,
happened
bad
is
Chegg. Bad
Yes.
check.
So what happened is I did not know it's in fucking beta. I actually did not know. So I watched someone play it and I was like, how did I not know about this game before? It came out in 2017. It's like war between two sides. Like, long story short, you guys can check it on YouTube. So blues and greens are fighting. It's like between World War One, World War Two era. It's fictional, and it's a true sandbox experience where everything is being made by the player. Bases, weapons, everything. And so you have like thousands of players fighting a war. There's no levels. There's no like achievements. Nothing. You just play the game. But it's a great experience, and it was on sale, and I bought the game. And on Humble Bundle, usually when something is in beta, they have it in like in the corner. It says early access or whatever, and
Right,
this
right,
one
right.
didn't have anything. And I've watched
Mm.
streams and for a couple of days to see if I like the game or not, and no one mentioned it. And I download the game and it says this is still in beta. I'm like, no.
Oh, and it turns out it's really fun. So it turns
You
out
know
you can
why it's
have a
fun?
good
No, here's the
experience.
thing. The game, that's not a beta game, bro. It's like the game is done. They just don't
Yeah.
want to publish it. It's I hate that. It's so bad. And I know their beta games or early
Well,
access
I don't
games
know,
are
like,
great.
but have you looked into it? Like, are they actually planning on adding more content, or
Of
is it pretty
course
much
they
just
are.
done?
Of course they are.
Okay,
They are
so
adding
it's
content,
basically
but
Valheim.
no, it's basically World of Warcraft if World of Warcraft was still in beta.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, the
yeah.
game fucking functions perfectly
That's
fine,
what I mean. So
and
does
they have a
Valheim.
bug here and there. Well, yeah, exactly. It's a done deal. And then when I streamed it, people were like, "Yeah, but they're adding, artillery or whatever." Oh, so what? World of Warcraft is adding fucking expansions. That doesn't mean it's in beta. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I hate that. I hate
Okay.
that. Yeah,
To anybody who's
I
new to
got
this, we're
debated.
sparking off a an argument that has like kind of reoccurred over the past year multiple times in our episodes. So yeah.
Yeah, true. I'm not a fan of current gaming industry, like, thing with early access gaming, but whatever. Um, all right, so I've been playing that. It's great. I kind of hope I showed it to Masa today, and he seems to kind of dig it.
It
I'd
does
like to
look
play
pretty
with you, man,
I
because
like the
it's
concept. So
you
yeah.
can play alone, but playing with someone would be even better.
Totally.
When it comes to like my real life things, some of you guys know I got the job as a community manager for wargaming for World of Warships, and that's been going on. And it came to a point where this upcoming week, I'm going to check embassy for my visa and appointment. So hopefully in a couple of weeks I'm gonna be ready to go to Prague and start working, because I'm very excited about that. That's been like main thing for me for last couple of days. And I got really I don't know how to say this in a proper way. I haven't been very happy with Twitch lately, and the last thing that happened is I'm not getting paid for some stupid reasons. I just don't want to go into it at all. Like, at the end I'm gonna get my money, but like it's like they're holding my money, which is the only way I'm making money. So it's very annoying. And yeah, I kind of ask people not to sub to my channel anymore, because I don't know if you know what's going to happen with that. Is basically
Right.
sending money, not even to Twitch. I don't even know. It's like stays in void. And you can't remove subscription key like one day. Like, people think that I'm debating them, so it was like I had in my title like, please do not subscribe, thank you. And of course, like, someone comes in 10 gifted subs, few people sub train, like,
God damn it.
no, I'm not trying to bait you into subbing to my channel. I actually don't want you to sub. So after some time, like, I tried streaming on YouTube again, Trovo, like, just such bad experience, really. And the worst part is like making people transfer like your viewership, your community to move to another platform. It's just like making them work extra for what, like, So I decided to make a new channel on Twitch, and I had one stream yesterday. It's so silly, man. Like, I can't believe, like, it's like it's such a surreal experience for me to like start over after
Yeah,
so many years.
I
And
imagine. Yeah.
One thing that confused me, I have on my channel, I have like almost 1 million views total. And now I started with it as like 45 total viewers or 35 or something. And I'm like, what is this? Like, and it something that the corner of my eye catches is so confusing. But yeah, when it comes to Star Citizen, I we got someone playing, someone new. She was kind of interested in it
I'm
for a
actually
while.
curious about this because I
Yeah,
don't think you told me about this,
no,
so
I didn't on purpose,
this
so
is
you can
new to
hear it
me.
here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Esotic is a friendo streamer who she mostly streams Final Fantasy 14, but she plays other games. Like recently she played Deathloop, she plays Fallout 76. Like she's an avid gamer. Also, shameless plug, although I don't think it matters that much, but she's a person I'm gonna start doing the other podcast with, which I'm not gonna like. Actually, I'm not gonna plug it or anything because we're starting tomorrow. Um, but anyways, it was not even me who brought her into. Like she watched me play a lot. We talk about Star Citizen. She was always interested, but like, it's too early and whatnot. And then a friend of ours, Revenati, who watches both streams, I think he surprised her with the gifted pledge. I think that's what happened. I wasn't there. I think he bought Avenger Titan package for her, and then she was like, she tried it. And one night she just DM'd me, and there was four of us just jumping into the verse and showing her different ships, ground vehicles, um, whatnot. She was having a lot of fun, and then we decided to do something. Like I had
Yeah.
Nox on my account, and we were like, okay, let's go from Microtech to PO so that she can see PO for the first time, because I think that's very iconic. And then we're gonna go to Daymar so she can try Nox because she likes that kind of style. I know she's gonna love the vehicle, and so it was me and her in her Titan, or no, we were in my Pisces, while Rev was taking his Carrack back to the Bagini, or no, what is Tressler? What is above Microtech?
Dressler.
Tressler. So he was
Yeah,
he was
Virginie
going
is our
back to
our corp.
Tressler. So he's next to Tressler, and two of us are in Pisces above Microtech, nowhere near him. I'm jumping to Crusader. Somehow he was about to get another ship with some ground vehicles on it. I think A2 or whatever, it doesn't matter, with Tonk, or so that we can show her as much as we can. And somehow when I jumped not only through the planet, but through his ship, which is impossible. Like that my trajectory was going nowhere near Tressler, right? And what happened is both of our ships exploded.
Yeah.
And then I got the crime stat.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I think Esu actually pressed charges on me. Not sure.
No.
He didn't want to. He told her
No.
to press the bracket and she pressed the wrong bracket. I think I'm not
No.
100% sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
However, we organized, okay, like I spawned in I spawned in area 18 because there was no one around me for me to end in the prison. I spawned in area 18 with crime stat 3, and I managed to escape. Okay, so I in my hawk, I actually managed to escape and end up in Daymar and spawn vehicles so that she can see it, and then she killed me with a tonk. And somehow I was like, okay, we're gonna end this playing session. You kill me in a tonk. Actually, it was Rev's idea. She kills me in a tonk. I spawn in the prison, whatever. And when I start playing next time.
Yeah.
However, I spawned in Grim Hex without crime stat.
Oh, because did she have the bounty for you?
No one had a bounty for me.
Well, that's why then. Yeah.
Yeah, but no crime stat.
Oh, you didn't have a no. Are you sure about that? Because it doesn't
Yeah,
show up that
I
you have a
played the day
crime stat in
after.
Grimhex.
I played the day after.
Weird.
There were so many strange things happening that day. However, she had a lot of fun. I'm happy
Yeah,
to report
yeah.
that, and we talked about it, and she wants to play again. And I told her Xenothread is coming, and that's something we can do all together as a group. And there's like multiple things to do, and there's actually something to do in the game. But yeah, it's fun. It's always fun seeing a new citizen enjoying the
I
verse.
feel like personally, all of my experiences introducing a new player to Star Citizen, all like I have never had it go smooth. A friend of
No.
mine had bought Star Citizen a long time ago and recently built a kick-ass gaming rig. I'm super jealous. I think I was talking about it a couple episodes back actually, and like we jumped into game to do stuff, and it's the same kind of thing. Like we didn't accomplish a damn thing, you
Mm.
know. Like we got
Yeah. Yeah.
we got one uh oh my god, I can't think of the mission name right now because my brain's blanking. Claim Jumpers mission's done in a Redeemer, and that's it. Inevitably, one of us gets a crime stat because that's what always happens, and we we did the thing to go clear the crime stat, and then we went to go do a bunker mission, and
Hey, you managed to
nothing
clean
worked.
the crime stat.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Well, that's kind of
yeah.
gameplay, to be fair.
It kinda is, yeah.
Kind of.
But that's the
It's
thing,
an event,
like all that happened, and like at the end of the day, Michael was still like, "That was really fun," you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
So
like
see,
I
we were
feel like
smart about it. We were not planning anything. We were like, we'll just show her
yeah,
Carrick,
yeah,
fly around,
yeah,
do nothing. We did
yeah,
end up jumping from the Carrick in Ursa rover from like 3,000 meters or something, and seeing if it's gonna survive or not. Something stupid, man. Like, and then she jumped with it, and she respawned in Carrick or whatever. So just the randomest
yeah,
things
yeah, yeah,
ever. Like yeah, yacht club style. Uh,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, where you just mess
just,
around and do
just yeah,
stuff,
just
yeah,
being there with friends is fun. But you don't need a game for that. But it's fun.
yeah.
But the
Well,
next time,
at
if
that
we
point too, like, part of the fun is, like, when you're new, like, it's like, "Holy shit, look at this ship, it's
yeah,
amazing," you know? Look at that planet over there, those that
dude, the
like, you
honeymoon
don't need to do
period
anything to
is
have
yeah,
fun.
exactly, is real.
Yeah,
Like, introduction to Star Citizen hits the right spot. The next time though, if she decides to play, I'm not gonna push her. I don't think Rev will either. But if she decides to play, because she plays it like in between other games and whatever,
yeah,
she's not gonna be a Star Citizen pedestrian, like.
yeah,
My idea is, if we don't have Xenothreat yet, I want to take her. Like, we can all go together and do the Kovalex mission, or the one with the fallen. What's the name? Satellite is in my head. Whatever the Comrade or whatever.
the crash
Yeah,
satellite, yeah,
yeah, or something like that with the story. I think for a new player, being exposed to the whole Kovalex missing, the one with like voiceover and
yeah,
everything. I think
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
idea, because she gets to see the potential,
Yeah,
of.
exactly, of the mission
And then
systems,
that
right? Where
mission
it's
with
an
someone
actual
else around, floating through that station, helping her out, and I think that can be a lot of fun.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that's it. Then I then I did the same thing I did some time ago. I don't know why this keeps happening to me, man. I swear to God. I gave her 400,000 to buy a Nox next time she plays, because she loved it, and I had 150k more on my account, and I've sent it to my alt because I was like, okay, I don't want to, like, I want to play my Aurora, and then I log back into my alt account, and I had to create a character again, and then money was gone again. Like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. There was no patch or anything. It's just like I had to recreate my character again. You remember this happened like a couple of weeks ago again. Like, I just
Yeah,
lost all the money. So whatever.
weird.
I alt F4, then I played Foxhole. Whatever. But I'm gonna play Xenothreat when it comes out. All right. Unless you have anything else to add, we can get to the news.
Let's jump into news, I guess. No, I don't really, like I said, haven't really been playing SC much
Yeah,
myself, but yeah.
the quote unquote news, because there's not that much new, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Given that they haven't started up their video content yet.
Okay,
So,
the order that we have is completely jumbled up. So I'm gonna pick things in different order. if you don't mind.
Sure.
We had Demarelli, and I don't know if you guys remember. Some of you OGs will remember because last year we were talking about Demarelli on this very podcast. Can you believe, man? It's like
That is
it's
crazy.
crazy, right? And I am always hyped up about Daymar. Just like last time, I watched it again. I think they're doing just some really wrong things with it and some really right things. Like the pre-show is fucking hours long, man. I the event is so long, anyways, that you don't need like 3 hour pre-show, bro. Like it's no, and they use it to like plug in things, which I understand they have sponsors and all that, but
Yeah.
now
Are they doing that like as an kind of like F1 inspired or whatever? You know how like there's like the
or the
I don't
car,
know.
I don't know, like maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it's not. It's I don't know. It's not that good. So the only new thing in the rally itself is it changed from rover to truck division, and actually the Spartans were part of it, and people were driving Spartans as well. So Ursa and Spartan were in the same category, which I think makes sense. And it is truck division in Dakar Rally anyway, so that's kind of cool. And it was cool seeing these massive things jumping over the dunes
Yeah.
of Daymar in like low gravity and whatnot.
Yeah. For
Um,
sure.
I think that the Daymar Rally itself did not disappoint. I'm not going to talk much about it. One thing that happened, and I was sure it's going to happen, and I actually DM'd you on Twitter about this, is the viewership was crap compared to the last year. Like, still, it was number one thing, obviously, in the
Yeah. Yeah.
category. There was I think on average, like it was usually around 2,000 people. Like, I don't think it ever went over 2.2k. Which last year when we talked about it, it was like almost 5,000 people watching. I don't know if you remember. It was like a lot. It was
I don't
good.
remember the actual numbers. Yeah.
I remember over 4k. Like I remember talking about this. Which means they dropped in half. I think there are two reasons for this. One, they're making too many events over the year. The Daymar Rally is not that special anymore. But even more importantly, it was the last Jumptown, which is so confusing to me because CIG supports Daymar Rally. We know that. They are adding to the lore. They're always there around. You could see all the community managers, even the new ones, in the chat. However, last Jumptown was at the same time, so the viewership was kind of split. You could see
Right.
other content creators
Yeah.
playing Jumptown, and I am so confused by this. Why did CIG decide to do this? Because Jumptown dates were whenever the crap they decide to do them, right?
Yeah. Well, especially I think like it wasn't the now again, I haven't really been kind of paying that much attention, but if I remember correctly, they even they even extended the Jumptown dates.
Yes.
They made an
Well,
extra.
that's the extension one, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And it was a
I don't really know.
48-hour one, and then I think it went even longer or something like that. But
But
why during Daymar Rally? That's so backwards,
but
man.
did it make that much of a difference? That's kind of my
I don't
question.
know.
Like if we were
I think
already
it did.
if the viewership numbers were already down by half of what they were last year, were the other 2,000 people who would have otherwise been watching
I,
Daymar Rally, were they actually watching Jumptown or were they just not there because, we're kind
I
of in
don't
Star
know,
Citizen
man.
doldrums?
We're going to talk about Jumptown, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you one thing. Jumptown definitely boosted like the concurrent views on Twitch of Star
Hmm.
Citizen. Burks had, whenever I check, is like 600 people. Mike had like 400 or 500 people off off times, like because he had
Hmm.
to play. Mike even called off work, like during Jumptown. He was doing it like live. And then they were like, dude, you're live. And he's like, I know, I'm not lying to them. I'm telling them I'm playing the game. This is my second job. Which I found so fucking cool. He was like, listen, guys, there's something's happening. I can create content on this. and they're they're okay with it. They're just
Yeah,
called
yeah,
off,
yeah,
and I love that. And it also it shows a side of Mike. Like he could have said, "Oh, I'm sick," you know.
yeah,
We
yeah,
live in the times
yeah,
where you could just call and say that you know
yeah,
you have an
totally,
issue.
yeah.
No one's gonna question it. But he's just honest person. He just says, "I'm playing a game. I'm, I gotta stay today," which I found silly. But
That's
there was a
interesting.
lot of people playing, like watching these and a lot of content creators played together, and it was still had like pulling big numbers. So I think it affected.
You think it did, hey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, that does kinda make sense, like, and I'm not gonna say anything, like, I'm not saying this in a way that's, like, negative about the Daymar rally, but, like, in past times, the Daymar rally is all there's going on, but not everybody is, like, a race fan, you know what I mean? Some people probably would have rather been watching an event like Jumptown,
it's
but
true. It's true.
but, in previous years, it hasn't happened like that, so,
I mean, you
you
had
know?
people streaming during Daymar doing some other stuff as well, but
Sure.
yeah,
But what is
not
it,
many
right?
content creators are actually participating in Daymar. Usually, it would be like Meyer and Darj, and
Yeah.
not you will not see like big content creators. They all support it. They love it, but
Yeah.
you could see
Well,
like,
it's a cool event.
of
Like,
course, yeah,
I'm not really interested in watching it much myself. Like, I saw
it's
it this
long,
year and I
man.
was like, I don't really feel like it, you know?
No,
But,
I can't watch it the entire thing anymore. I did first
yeah.
couple of years, and now I
But,
jump in and
yeah.
out or like check my favorite team.
And
Unfortunately,
I'm
so
also not surprised that Jumptown has kind of, like, caused a resurgence in viewership because ultimately, like, when you think
well,
about it,
in
like,
general,
it does
yeah,
create more interesting content than Star Citizen itself usually generates, you know
true,
what I
true,
mean?
true.
So,
Well, speaking of which, we can jump over to Jumptown.
sure.
And holy moly, here's my take on Jumptown. First of all, it was a great event. I did participate a little bit on my own. I have to say on my own, but I watched crap ton of it on Twitch and on YouTube a little bit. Um, and it's so much fun to like. It's so much fun to watch. Most of the content, big content creators gathered around and did things together. So you could see Mike, Noodle, Darklaw, Erks, Zero. I can't pronounce.
I think it's
uh,
just 0. Yeah.
yeah, Zero State.
Yeah.
And they would go together, and plus some their mods or viewers that you can see in the chat a lot. Like these are, Twitch, you have these people who are very active in Twitch chats, and everyone knows about them. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah,
hear
yeah.
them and see them as well in the game, and it was very entertaining to watch. And on top of that, these guys were not really playing the game the way CIG gives you a way, kind of. No, don't play it in a wrong way. Don't get me wrong. Like, but the idea of Jumptown, there should be no idea. But like the Jumptown gives you boxes that come out right
Yeah.
of whatever thing, and then you sell them or you give them in. But they found their own gameplay, which is
Yeah.
great. And player base did as well for the most part of it. Like there were Congo lines, and which I don't think there's anything wrong with it. People are not
No,
standing in line to die. People are standing in line to respect each other, get something
yeah.
out of the gameplay.
Cooperate instead of fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like I've been in a couple of these, and people are actually chill. They talk to each other. It was a very social experience. And then someone would turn off the camera, and people would be like, "Oh shit, camera is off."
Yeah.
Like, should we run or whatever? Like, so something is happening, which is not very common thing in Star Citizen, unfortunately for now. So what these guys did most of the time, they would try to mingle into. They would they all played on alts. They would mingle into a new server, and then they would help these people fill their own ships, and then they would steal as many ships as they can.
Yeah.
Then they would bring these ships to an empty space where they have a dedicated pilot with usually Cutlass Black, because it's so easy to toss from any ship into Cutlass Black, right, in
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And then that person would stay to go and sell, while their scouts would tell them where's the next server where there's like a lot of activity in Jumptown. And then they would go there and do the same thing. They would go in with their auroras and just help people out. And then when they're ready to strike, they would either like steal the ships, or they would kill the
Kill
comrade, kill
everybody there.
everyone,
Yeah.
take the
Yeah.
ships, or fail. They failed a lot as well. And then at the end of the day, this happened multiple times, right? Which I think is great content, honestly. I don't think Star
Yeah.
Citizen
Yeah.
ever
Totally.
had this kind of content with somewhat longevity, right? Apart from Atmo Esports creating something, right? Like most of the times, you have a good interaction here and there,
Yeah.
but not like this. And at the end of the day, they would like send money to those who are on, like, oh, Mike was only half a day, so he gets 4 million or whatever, like
Right. Right.
they
Yeah.
had fucking lists and everything, accountants and all that. And this is why I'm saying Jumptown was a success. It was a great event. I would be okay if they gave it a different name, for obvious reasons. But I don't think it failed in that way. However, and I'll just say this, and then I'll let you give us your take as well. I So after and during Jumptown, I've heard content creators that I'm following how this is the best thing ever. And there's nothing wrong with it, and they don't know what they're going to do after it or like in between. And they were boosting this idea of Jumptown being a perfect, flawless event, which I don't think it's perfect or flawless, but I think it was great. However,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they were somewhat devoured by their experience of playing in a big group of many like kind of friends, content creators. They
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
also networking at the same time.
Coordinated. Yeah.
Their views were skyrocketing, which also, as a content creator myself, I know this gives you a better feel of whatever you're playing. I can play
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
Tetris, but if people are there engaging, it's just the Tetris game feels so much better than if I'm playing on my own.
Right.
And therefore, I want to say, I don't think that this event was as enjoyable for a regular Star Citizen player, especially solo one or like duo. I think there was something to do for sure, but I don't think it was as good. And the only issue that I have with this, which don't get me wrong, I think that's fine. I am the first one who will say there should be things for multiplayer, things for single player. It's totally okay if a
Yeah.
solo miner cannot break a rock
Yeah.
and the group
Yeah.
can. I'm
Yeah.
first one to say this. So from that perspective, there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with this event being better for
Exactly.
multiplayer.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's totally fine for this to be more of
Yes.
a group experience necessarily than a solo one. Sure. Yeah.
The issue I have is I feel like, and I could be 100% wrong with this, but I feel like some of these content creators have a lot of influence towards, and listen to my words, please, towards CIG community management team. So I'm not saying CIG as a whole, but people who are the bridge between player base and development, they sit in these big streams and they're seeing chat losing their mind, streamers losing their mind, having a lot of
Yeah.
fun, and having a feedback that this is perfect. I just want to bring it up and say that it's not that good for everyone. That's all. And it doesn't have to be. But I think it may be, because this
It's
will evolve,
important.
right? It will evolve.
Exactly.
Maybe it
And it's
should be
important for that
marketed as that, right?
Exactly. It's important for that feedback to be noted. But I don't I don't I don't think that there's I don't know. Like personally, I would say that I think that the people who are taking the feedback from gameplay and stuff like that are smart people, and like they're not just going to basically rubber stamp Jumptown because Salty Mike and crew think it's fun.
Maybe. I
You know
don't
what I
know.
mean?
Maybe you're
Like
right.
that's definitely going to be a data point. Like they're going to use that, but I think that they're, like I think they're if they're if they're as professional as it seems like has been indicated up until this point. Like we've heard Xylo talk about how they incorporate feedback and turn it into data that's
True.
actionable by their devs before. And like it's a system. It's a literal system, So I don't think that they're just going to use content
But you know
creators,
what the problem is, though? You don't have. Sorry,
criticism.
I'm totally like cutting you here, and it's not nice. But I just want to tell you something. How often do you have this big of a happening in content creation in Star Citizen? I
What
don't
do you
think
mean?
you ever had.
Like
So
as far as
so
an
like this
event
is like
or
a new scale where how do you react to it? And I don't know.
well, we'll
Like
see. But
honestly, I don't know. I'm just like these are my thoughts, not like. Also, Xylo and
yeah.
Galactica actually played the event, and on Twitter you could like see when they're playing, and they were like kind of taunting people to come and kill them and
Yeah.
whatnot, which is great. I love their. Uh,
Yeah.
by the way, I don't think she's watching this or anything. I just want to welcome Galactica to Star Citizen content creation. Sorry, Star Citizen community management team. She's a great community manager from World of Warships. I know her from there. It's so cool to get. I don't know if you followed her on Twitter. If you are
I do,
not,
yeah.
like everyone
Yeah.
should. She's very very cool tweeter, I guess, but also very nice TM. I mean, you know what? I would be heartbroken if she left the game that I'm playing for some game that I don't play. But this scenario where she like leaves World of Warships and comes to Star Citizen is like, and it's so funny seeing like in her tweets. Now I can see like either content creators or some viewers that I know or whatever, like from both games commenting on the same stuff, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy. Sorry, that's a tangent.
That's fine. Yeah, no. But I don't know. Like, overall, my opinion of Jumptown has kind of like morphed a little bit. And the first and foremost thing I will say is like I haven't played Jumptown because I haven't been playing Star Citizen. I am pretty. I just kind of like I don't like I just I don't feel the urge to play. Even with Jumptown going, I haven't been able to summon the like the urge to jump into Star Citizen. So take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt because I haven't played Jumptown 2. I've played Jumptown 1, but yeah, anyways. But I have been kind of just like paying attention to social media feeds. I've jumped into a few streams
Vibes.
to kind of watch people and honestly my opinion has changed a little bit. Like at first I was pretty disappointed by what I saw because when I jumped into various content creators, all I was seeing were people completely unarmed, conga lining drugs out there, and I just thought like,
It's not what it's supposed to be.
it's like where's the PvP? This looks like Nine Tails Lockdown all over again, where it's basically just because we're limited on these 50-player servers. Like you just have basically blues camping and playing friendly, which I've kind of like I've taken a step back and I've rethought that position too because like you pointed out, that's fine. Like it's fine if people want to do that. And
Bro, you
and
never know
thinking
if
back
one
to
of
the
these guys in the line will take out the gun
yeah,
and kill everyone
and
or
and
steal
it's
someone's ship.
honestly
It's crazy.
that's the same it's the same as Jumptown 1,
Yep,
like
yep. You
Jumptown
don't know
1,
who you can
yeah,
trust.
occasionally, JT safe, like that's a meme now, but like that was a thing that would, like that would happen on some servers you were
Of
on in
course.
Jumptown 1 and people would be like, yeah, yeah, it's fine, and people just go down, they trade and whatever and that, like, and then other times it was an absolute clusterfuck war zone. And other times, like you get shot down trying to leave the planet or whatever, so I've kind of like stepped back on hating on the whole idea of conga lining because yeah, I mean that
It's different kind of
was
Congo line, right? Like
yeah, it looked
it's an effort of a whole group, kind of.
totally. And like and that is something that is fine and should be fine in an MMO environment, right? Like there's nothing saying that, like you have to be fighting for it at any
Well,
given
there it
time. I
is.
think the
That's
main
sandbox
thing that
in a
yes,
nutshell.
but the main thing that kind of like made me kind of not like the concept of that is based on the fact that there's only 50 people in a server, right? Whereas like in
Yes.
a true MMO environment, anybody can come in at any time and start causing shit. Whereas like if you're a big guild or whatever and you roll in on this on Jumptown with 20, 30 people, like, well, nobody's going to take you down in the server because they literally can't, because
True.
you have taken up 2/3
Also,
of the
conga
server.
line would not
But
work if the entire population is in one jump town.
yeah.
You understand that? There's going to be like
Yeah,
thousands
yeah,
of
yeah.
people in a line. No, someone's
Totally.
going to go and kill them all with a bomb and then go and take it and leave,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. So there was that. So I've kind of like changed a little bit on that, and then the other part of me was going like, well, this just looks, kind of like it's still Star Citizen, it's still boring, but that's me, right? Like that's where I'm at right now, and I'm glad I've kind of walked myself back on that as well, because if people are having fun with it, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that people are actually having fun with it. Like I'm not in a position where I feel like I could enjoy it right now just because I don't feel like playing Star Citizen right now, but I'm glad that people are having tons of fun.
man,
And
that's what I'm saying, man. Like it is boring. I played in a couple of sessions, and what you're saying there is literally what I'm saying. If for a solo player, it is boring.
it can be, but like I again like just paying attention to like uh like various Discord servers and Twitter and stuff like that, and some people seem to be having a good time with it, and
Absolutely. Well,
that's
that's what I'm
fine.
saying.
I
Like it
shouldn't
doesn't
I
have to
shouldn't
be
criticize it.
good for everyone. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that Ed said as well. When I mentioned it, he was like, "Well, you don't develop, in-game events for everyone."
Yeah, exactly, especially in a game
Unfortunately,
this size.
when you have big time lack of content in the game in general, everyone tries to get a piece of that fun joy pie kind of in the
Yeah.
game, and then people get disappointed. And you know what? That's okay as well. And I think that's why I wanted to mention it as well, so that people understand. Like, not everyone is enjoying it. It's fine, and it's okay if you're not enjoying it. It's okay.
Yeah,
There's gonna be something you're gonna enjoy more than these
totally.
guys that
Yeah.
enjoyed. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. It's okay.
And with respect to, I guess just to kind of like rewind a little bit to make to comment on like the feedback thing that you were talking about
Hmm,
last
hmm.
with respect to the content creators thinking that this is the best thing. This is something that I mentioned, I think, in our last episode with Ed, where I kind of like at one point I was kind of feeling like maybe these content creators have a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, and think and feel like this is the best thing, in the world, simply because the
They have
rest
to.
of
Yeah.
Star Citizen has been pretty static for,
True.
however long, right? Um, but even then, like I've kind of walked that back as well, because who cares, like even if it isn't a spectacular event by a AAA title, uh, s- um, like even if
Standards,
it's
right?
not polished to the point of like AAA experience.
Ye-
If people are having fun with it in the game as it is right now, then that's fine too.
You know
So
what I think it is, though? I know this might come to you as a surprise, but I think this same event, if it was done the way it was supposed to be done, so like player triggered within quantum or whatever, on in an MMO with like healthy server population with server meshing and everything, I think this is just good event. It's
yeah,
it's being part of the entire game, right? It's difficult to judge the quality of an event when your world is like kind of fractured in a way. So
yeah. Um,
that's something I want to mention as well. But because I don't think you and me talked about this between us, and for those who listen to us, and I don't feel like we need to stay there for too long. But Jumptown was supposed to bring quantum,
yep,
and
and it
it's
didn't.
very
Yeah, it was supposed to be
disappointing that
triggered
they, yeah.
dynamically by what was happening in the universe, and it obviously isn't. It's scheduled because quantum isn't there yet.
Well, here's the thing, dude. You say because quantum isn't there yet. Did they tell us anything about it?
What do you mean?
Did CIG say, okay, we're it's not going to be with quantum because this and that?
No, of course not. But that's
That's a part. Like, how can it be? Of course not. That's where I lose my shit. Like, how?
well, it's
Like,
of course not, simply because historically the department that we hear the least from is Tony Z's department. And whenever we do see
wait,
something
wait.
like in
What
a
did
monthly
we
report or
can have
something like
Lando
that,
say this?
it's literally just like a single paragraph, like worked on this. Like, but yeah, no, we haven't heard why it isn't uh dynamic like they said it was going to be, and why we haven't heard anything about that.
To me, this is a
And
disaster of Jumptown. Like, not even Jumptown not being part of Quantum, which is really bad, honestly, because literally you had Tony Z sitting there and glorifying the
yeah,
reappearance
through
of these
Citizen Khan.
events,
Yeah, yeah,
and how many events, not to mention how many events we were promised in the last year and how many were there, whatever.
yeah,
This is why I don't trust anything they say anymore. And I'm sorry, but it's the only way I can function. You lied to me way too many times in the last couple of years for me to trust anything you say. Because I just end up being disappointed, and then glorifying his whole system, and explaining how the release date for this system is not a date but this event, right? So we don't have dates, we don't have anything. The
yeah,
release date for this system is Jumptown 2. Whoa, sounds so great, so bombastic. It just stays there, it rings. And then you release Jumptown, it's not part of the quantum.
yeah.
You
And
literally
nobody's
make a
really
mess
talking
because
about.
someone has to fucking turn it on and off, and like half of the world cannot join it
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
right, of the obvious reasons. And then you just don't say anything about it.
yeah,
I really have a problem with this. These are my biggest issues with Star Citizen. It's always communication, always.
yeah, yeah. I think there's definitely validity to that. And that definitely kind of is one of the things I was going to kind of touch on with respect to my thoughts on Jumptown. Is like, I mean, this can't be the best thing ever, that the best event ever, because it's not what they said it was going to be.
It's
You know
literally
what
a
I mean?
lie. Yeah.
Um, but I guess, just to kind of wrap my thoughts up, the other thing that I kind of walked, initially had an opinion on and then walked back on, was the concept that Jumptown 2 was missing the point about what Jumptown was in the first place. Like, the Jumptown was fun because it wasn't structured, because it was emergent and anything could happen. And initially I thought that frankly, a lot of content creators also kind of were concerned that it was missing the soul of what made Jumptown fun in the first place. But even that, I mean, like, the fact that Salty Mike and them are finding their own kind of emergent gameplay, in the event as it is, it kind of makes me walk that initial opinion back, because the random shit that happens, people stealing a ship, one person running in there with an LMG and mowing everybody down,
Mm.
like, all those sorts of things are there in this um
Well, the thing
in
that
this event.
I've heard a
So
lot of people saying is like you had to invest money
yeah,
and now you
yeah,
don't. But hear me out. And I've heard this in multiple whatever content. Is that back then you get there, press buy, leave. Right? If there's no
yeah.
one there, you're done. So you
Oh yeah,
invest
you're
money,
you're
you
in
don't
and
invest
out
time.
in seconds. Yeah,
Here, you have to invest time, which you could invest somewhere else to make
yeah,
this money. And
yep.
then when you're done
And money,
investing
because
two
your equipment.
hours, well, yeah, someone might just steal it. So there you go. Like you still have this same
Yeah,
like
there
if
is
someone
risk to it.
steals a Cutlass Black with like 25 boxes, you're gonna feel this very
Yeah,
personally. You're gonna feel like shit
yeah,
about
and that's
yourself
that's to say nothing
about
about the
the
fact that at this point, like, it's full loot. So basically, if you go down there with the full, like, battle kit, like, there's your risk right there. And yes, sure, you're
Exactly.
not misking millions on, filling up a ship
Well,
full
you
of widow
feel
or
it,
something, but
and
you're still, like if you're going in there in full kit, you still have,
yeah.
20, 30 grand on the line potentially.
And guess what? It's gonna
So,
be even different when the game comes out. So
yeah, so there is that risk aspect there. But yeah, anyways, so that's kind of like my outsider's take and then retake on Jumptown so far, just kind of like observing from the outside, forming my initial opinions and then having to walk back on them because, at the end of the day, yeah, like things have kind of changed. My opinions have changed a little bit, and yeah, like I said, I I haven't really felt like playing it myself, but like just from what I've seen, yeah, overall it seems like the event was fun and people enjoyed it, and I think that's cool. But yeah, by no means is it perfect, obviously. Like we kind of touched on, it was supposed to be dynamic and it's not, and there's been complete radio silence on why that is, you know?
yep.
So, you know, yeah.
Here's another problem with that, with the event not being dynamic. I think if it was, I don't think they would have to limit the event to, a couple of weekends, couple of weeks, whatever. And instead they can let it run. And I think with the dynamic event, probably there would also be some kind of an in-game trigger when the
Yeah,
requirements through Quant are met.
that's what
And
it's supposed to be, yeah.
and there, I think we need that a lot because I know a lot of people are saying, and I've heard this, I've seen this around, is that like, you want this to run all the time? Because I do. I think all of these events need to run all the time, at least for now, because there's no downside to it. We're in the alpha bubble. We're just testing. So if you have Xenotret whenever it happens, if you have Ninetales whenever it happens, if you have Jumptown whenever the fuck it happens, the thing is, if you are not playing these loops and you're, let's say, miner or cargo hauler and you're not interested in this, guess what? While PvP or those who are, who would usually hunt you down with whatever peaceful gameplay you're playing, they do it because they don't have anything else to do. Like they have to find some kind of a gameplay. And if there's an event running, most of these people who want like active engagement with other players, which that's what it is. Most of them are
Yeah,
not
yeah,
killing you to grief you. They're killing you because they want the engagement. It's
yeah,
not a single
yeah,
player game, right?
exactly.
So
They
they're
don't
gonna
wanna
be
deal with the
there.
derpy NPC. Yeah, they want
Exactly.
somebody who can actually potentially offer a challenge.
This is why I think it's very important for these events to not be on demand and like not only certain part amount of time, which we're gonna talk later about, but rather like run in the background all the time. Unfortunately, we don't have that.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's we should hold off on that discussion for the
Yeah.
most
I
part
think we're done
because we're
with
gonna talk about it.
JT, and
Yeah.
move on. Uh, Xenotret is coming with 6.1. Which the next patch, it's already in PTU. We have no idea when 361 is coming out. I am scared
316
shitless. 16.1, yeah, sorry, 361. Because we are currently playing in 315 with some changes brought in because they did not want to like screw up the server
Mhm.
stability, which by the way is great. So 30Ks are barely a thing right now, but I think once 316 the actual 316 branch comes in, I think there's 50% chance that we get back to 30Ks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm saying
Could be.
there's a valid chance that that might be a thing.
Yeah.
Um. So
Wait,
yeah,
but even if are they branching off like to the actual 316 branch with 316.1? I thought they were gonna stick with the 315 branch for
I know.
316.1.
The reasoning behind this was because they were going on a vacation, so that if something
Yeah,
goes wrong, they don't,
yeah. Because the way
So
they do it is they branch off like a whole other separate dev branch
I
for a
think, well, they
patch.
need to test it, right? Like
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
we are QA. We're paying them to QA for them. So from as far as I know, they're going to push the actual 316 with 316.1.
Hmm.
Yeah, not much to talk about it. There were some changes in Xenotret, some balancing changes and whatnot. There were issues with the what's the name?
The javelin
Javelin.
not
Yeah,
spawning,
not
I heard.
spawning. They're probably gonna iron it out. But I mean, I'm gonna play it because listen, Xenothreat. If you like want to make some money and while just like flying around and doing random shit, if you're just there at Jericho, you're gonna make money. Like that's how it is. You can just
Yeah.
park there and make money. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
well,
it's a fun
I think
event as
that
well.
it is, yeah, like, and, like, I think that again, this is something we talked about when the first Xenothread happened, was, like, it's events like this that kind of give you the taste of what Star Citizen would be like if it were an MMO, because
True.
it congregates people so that you're able to actually interact, cooperate, fight potentially too. You know, like you get more of that MMO experience from these events. So like I think that like that's a reason to do Xenothreat in and of itself. It's just
Yeah.
because you can finally, it feels like you're playing legitimately with other people instead of occasionally just seeing a player sprint by you in a spaceport or something like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or be headless T pose or whatever,
Yeah.
which is happening now a lot. With
Yeah.
316, we're getting another new gameplay implementation with 361, sorry, which was supposed to be 316 but did not make it. And that's the jumping puzzles in the new derelict sites.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Have you seen any of that? Because now it's in
No,
PTU. Man,
I've heard a bunch of it, but I haven't actually seen anybody go down. But I have heard that it's actually pretty cool, like the
I don't know about the
what the different puzzles have done.
puzzles because some laser mines are missing and whatnot, like
Hmm.
the regular little problems. But the derelicts are looking really
Yeah,
good, and
yeah,
and that's what it's in for me. Like I always enjoyed this part of the game.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
wish there
totally.
was like I don't want any NPCs in it. That's the only problem I have because FPS combat for me is fucking gross. But other than that, they look great. I thought they're only Caterpillar, but it seems like they also worked on some freelancer ones as well. So
I've heard Freelancer and Starfarer, but I thought it was the new ones were only
with
like the ones
jumping
with the
puzzles,
jumping
right?
puzzles and like mines in them and stuff were only Caterpillar, I think, so
What I
far.
really like about this is that now this is potentially a new loop for kind of like zero to hero or new player experience where you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just go through these, get some gear, get some
yeah.
money while you're exploring the continent, sorry, the planets or moons, getting to know these big ships. And I can't wait for more ships. So we should have like every ship as a
Yeah.
derelict basically,
I'm
and I
really
love it.
like
I think this is great.
I'm really hoping that we see with the new video content, I'm really hoping that we see something about how they're doing these derelicts, because I
Mm,
really hope they're doing it in a way that they can like
expand.
automate them a
Mm.
little bit. Yeah, expand them and automate them so that they can really like
I don't know,
populate
man.
areas with them without having to like custom craft
I
every,
disagree.
you know?
In general, I agree with this because how else are you going to make so many systems and everything? But
Yeah,
if we are talking about finicky jumping puzzle, I play jumping puzzles in any game that offers them. I am pissed that World of Warcraft doesn't have proper jumping puzzles, and I still play Guild Wars 2 every now and then because it has jumping puzzles. For example, I even like the only thing I did in Final Fantasy 14 was looking for jumping puzzles and doing that, and almost all I was fishing as well. But um, these need to be well made. Like look at the prison escape. It's like almost good. I wish the gravity was not a thing there, but like you need to have these jumps that are perfectly distanced. Otherwise, what's the point? If you can just, you need to be able to miss your jump. You need to be
yeah.
able to, So if there's a jumping puzzle, I want them to do it. I don't want that like procedurally generated at all.
The problem is that if they don't have some method to randomize them, you're basically gonna be able to walk into a wreck and go, "Oh, this is Caterpillar wreck 1A, so I know that this is the jumping puzzle I have to do." And
That
that
rewards you for playing that game loop a lot. I did Karazhan not long ago while I was still playing Burning Crusade, and You know, I did it many years ago, many times, and I know how to do Shade of Iron. I know. So does it make it any worse? It's okay to have limited. I don't listen. I don't mind having randomly generated um derelicts with like randomly generated like loot containers and looting them, except for ones that are jumping puzzles. Those
Like, I
can be
see what you're
randomly
saying.
scattered, but I'm sorry, but I don't want No Man's Sky, man. I don't want everything to be fucking randomly generated. I want you can feel the touch when they do it properly.
Yeah. Sure, I see that, but like, I also don't think that, and this is something that they have demonstrated that you don't like. They're never going to go the No Man's Sky route. They've specifically said that they're trying to blend like dynamically generated stuff with that artist's touch, right? Like they do that with their space stations, for example, where they developed a system that can that can generate the layout of a space station, but the way it's hooked together and things, and the rooms themselves are all kind of like tweaked and done by an artist. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm envisioning when I say like randomly generated kind of kind of wrecks, right? Not that it's like it's all dynamically generated, but they're able to kind of like use procedural generation with those kind of like specific level design touches to just make it so that it's not as bad as, like I said, where you walk into Caterpillar and you're like, oh, this is Caterpillar 1A, and you know exactly what the layout's going to be, like just to give it a little bit of that kind of question mark when you're walking into a wreck, right? You don't know exactly how it's going to be.
Here's my counter argument. Orchid came back to playing the game, I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, and we had one session. We did one of these missions where we had to recover a box from, like the black box, whatever. So it was in space and it was Starfarer. And I think these boxes are randomly placed in the ship right now. And the box was behind the closed door that you cannot open. And he quit playing again. Because we've spent 45 minutes
Yep.
trying to find the fucking box that you simply cannot get to. And inevitably, if you do this, there will be that 1 in 1,000 derelict site where you're gonna spend so much time and you're gonna figure out, oh shit, this is fucked.
Sure.
So
But
I'd rather have 20-25 sites of Caterpillar and with jumping puzzles randomly scattered and repeating, and then 10,000 more that don't have jumping puzzle that are different derelicts of Caterpillar, but they don't have a jumping puzzle in them.
yeah. See,
Then
but
having this situation ever.
the reason that sort of frustration is Alt F4 inducing right now is because Star Citizen is in the state that it's in. It's not 1 in 1,000. It's like fucking one in every two things
I've
you
never
try to
seen that
do
before, honestly.
ends in this. Sure, but it's always something, you know what I mean? Like, and if you have a game experience that is mostly smooth but has, like 1 in 1,000 missions you go on is bugged out, that's
No, man.
that's an online game, man.
If I invest an hour into a mission and it's randomly generated to impossible, I will be very disappointed.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Well,
It's
obviously the
okay.
goal is to make it so that it's not,
I,
that it's not
I
there. But
know.
here's the thing. Like, even if you have preset derelicts, like they're going to be distributed procedurally around the
Of course.
universe. So you're still going to get that 1 in 1,000 times where it's spawned partway into a mountain or something and you can't complete it. Like the chances there are at least equal to having an entire wreck that has an element of procedural generation to it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We have to
I don't
see.
know.
See,
We'll have
like
to see.
probably
Yeah.
17 years from now, two of us old farts will be playing, and I'm gonna be like, How do you feel about that now,
Yeah,
motherfucker?
yeah,
And you're gonna be like
that's possible.
smashing your keyboard, not being able to get to the box or whatever, or
Maybe, yeah.
not,
I
or
mean,
not.
we already kind of experienced that with,
Yeah.
well, like I said, when we were trying to do that bunker mission, and one of the
Yep.
dudes spawned in the spawn closet, and never came out, and we couldn't complete the mission. You know, yes, it's frustrating. I hate that shit. But
Yeah,
at
but that's
any
a
rate,
bug, right? That
I
that
hope we
because of,
see.
yeah.
I would like to see, like, I'd like to see this come up in their video content, like something, so where they show us kind of like,
I agree.
how the Montreal studio did it, how they're planning on doing more going forward, because let's be honest, man. I mean, like, if they don't have some level of procedural generation here, the amount of work it's gonna take to do like 20 different rec combinations with however many ships is gonna be a
Shut up. They're making millions. I don't give a shit.
it's
I don't give
crazy
a
though.
shit.
Like that'd be a
As
ton of
long
work.
like I'm not asking for them to make 10,000 different combinations, okay? That's what I'm saying. They can make a finite amount and repeat them for me of each ship, and I'm fine with that. Rather, like obviously you're gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do, right? Like we don't have
Yeah.
any, but
But
what
you're talking about like wastes of money, man. Like how you don't like them wasting your money. You'd rather them spend a ton of time
it's not.
crafting
It's not.
40
You're
wrecks for
wrong.
every ship.
Well, yes, if it's quality of life for me as a player, then fuck yeah. What else do I want them to spend money on?
Mhm.
Don't let me even start with what they're spending money on. Reinventing fucking. Okay, let's not even go there. So what I'm saying is it's the same amount of like it's no I'm not asking them to create every derelict site. I'm saying make the finite amount that is like reasonable with the time invested, and then scatter them and multiply them. This is like personal take personal opinion. I would rather have them repeat every now and then than be random with jumping puzzles. Not all of them. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
because it's a crashed ship, right? So whatever, it can be fucked up and you might not be able
Yeah.
to recover something. But if it's
There's
a
there's
designated jumping puzzle and I know I'm doing it, then I want to know that it's fucking working.
there's part of me too that's kind of like, well, like I don't know what, I guess ultimately it's a game, but like there's part of me that goes like, well, if there's an aspect of the ship where like, I can't make this jump, I physically cannot make it, then in real life I'd have to figure something else out, or just say shit, I can't do this.
If I can, yes. Well, no, no, yeah, no, it's a game. Listen, bro. People have this like crazy relationship with jumping puzzles. I know people who will never fucking touch it. So I love it, and I
Yeah.
love I love
Yeah.
it to be very difficult, challenging, so to say, rather, because you're
Yeah.
playing the game. Nothing is difficult, but I need that reward at the end, bro. Like I need
You
because
need it
if
to be completable. Yeah.
and yeah, because it need the reason why I just wasted like bunch of time.
Yeah.
I am not escaping prison because what do I do when I escape prison? Get an Ursa rover without fucking GPS that I can't do anything with if I manage to open the door, even if I have a password. So for me, that jumping puzzle is a complete fail. I mean, you can be picked up by other, people, but
Yeah,
then
sure,
they
sure.
get
Yeah.
crime set, and you're back
Right.
at square one if
What you're
someone
saying
shoots you or explode.
is you want them in more places, because you want to be able to
I
actually
want
do
them to
jumping
work.
puzzles.
Yes, I want
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
jumping puzzles. Definitely, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not
Well,
very passionate
at
about
any
like
rate,
many things,
I
but
just
like
hope that
this is
we
one of those.
I
Fishing,
hope that we
jumping
see
puzzles.
I hope that we see something about that from the Montreal studio, because apparently they're doing a real good job, and I just want to see more from them.
From whenever we saw them so far, it looked
Yeah.
very interesting to watch, and they seem like super nice uh, group of people, entertaining to listen to and watch. So I
Yeah.
agree. I want to see maybe ISC again or something. They can give us a new one of the derelict. What is it? Javelin or
Yeah.
on Daymar? You remember?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They did that village. The
yeah. I
village that
want an
looks so
update to
cool.
that with that, man.
Outlet Village. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. For sure.
That thing looks like a single player game level, kind of the whole area.
Yeah. 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 I got nothing more to say to that besides it would be awesome if that kind of like became a new like Grim Hex area. You know what I mean? Like
Or
an
yeah,
outlaw
yeah,
spawn.
some faction, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
like shady faction or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like an illegal, basically just like an illegal
Base of
settlement.
operations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you definitely need more of those. I mean, there's Grim Hex and nothing. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but yeah.
Well, I think part of that is just like this train on the server. I don't know. It's out of my
Yeah,
depth. But
yeah,
like
you're
also you
probably
have
right.
like
Yeah. Entity counts.
multiple dream hexes, multiple, and that's like on different servers. But I think that's all on the same server, just sharded or whatever. And imagine like whatever they add like that, it's probably whatever. I don't know, but it seems like that. But I'm sure we're gonna have more than more than what we have now.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, we're getting a new vehicle. Uh,
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
the consolidated Outland. I think it's called Quad or something like that. It's basically a ski jet. Is that how they're called? How do you guys call them? You have them in
Jet
Canada.
jet ski, a
Well,
skidoo. It looks
jet
kind of like a
ski, but
skidoo. Yeah.
ski-doo. There we go. Yeah. It kind of resembles the Nomad, which is I never liked the looks of Nomad, but that's my LTI now, and it's like that car. Like you look at it from the outside, you don't like it, but then you kind of start loving it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
enjoy Nomad now, and to be fair to me, visually this thing looks good, and it has some things that are very important to mention. I would say, but before I go into that, I think it's going to be another LTI token probably.
For
Um,
most people, yeah.
yeah, I'm
Most hover
surprised.
vehicles end up being like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't push this at the end of the year.
I'm kind of surprised too, to be honest. I mean, like, and the fact that we're just seeing it pop up on like the PTU
PTU.
instead of like I saw it on my Twitter feed and I was like, oh, cool. And I went over to the website and there's nothing. There's no
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
unveiling this or whatever. There's so literally all I've seen is like a few people playing around with it in the PTU, but
maybe they
it's cool, I guess.
silently add this into the game. Like you can only buy it in shops and you can't buy it on the store. Oh
Yeah. Well, I don't know, like, this is and I mean, obviously, if let me rephrase this. Okay, so the 12 Days of Luminalia final
yeah,
reveal
sneak
was
peek
this
or
hover
whatever.
vehicle, and we didn't hear anything about it then. Now we're seeing it pop into PTU, there's still nothing about it, so we don't really know anything about it besides
I
that
think
it's
something went
another
wrong there.
hover
Like,
bike, and it looks cool.
uh,
Yeah, there was definitely backlash over the whole
yeah,
Luminalia
no,
thing.
but I think like behind the closed doors, like he probably was supposed to be ready, and then something
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
working properly, or but I mean these things happen. I'm not salty about this. Is fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
As long as
I
they
don't
come up and say when they push it like in a month or so and say like here's the thing we wanted to do it like this but it backfired or whatever,
I
which they
wouldn't hold
probably
your
will
breath.
not. Well, of course, but that's what's pissing me off. Like I'm okay with them
Yeah.
having these issues. I just want them to tell me because I'm funding their project, so I want to
Yeah.
know. um the big thing about this is actually it has like you can it's like gold pass, like you
Yeah,
can
it's the
open and see the
gold
components.
standard.
Exactly. Sorry, gold standard, yeah. And it has inventory, so you can put things inside. It's a small inventory, but whatever, it's an inventory on a Grevlev. And I think this is great. This opens up a potential mini gameplay loop where you can park your just as an example off the top of my head, like you can park your Cutlass Black in front of the cave, and you can use this vehicle to go down and recover a missing person while also looting a couple of weapons or mine something and put it
Yeah,
in
yeah,
in the Grevlev and then fly out of the cave back to your ship. And
yeah.
I think that's nice. I
We were saying this before we went live, but, like, this is one of the things that I was kind of talking about when I was saying a couple episodes back about how, like, one of the wishes for 2022 was for more, like, interlinked kind of gameplay like this, where it's a small thing, but it's like, you can use the bike to go into the cave to harvest the thing. You put it in the bike, bring the and like those sorts of like little things that kind of just plug in together and
To
make it
create the kind
feel a
of
little bit
functional loop,
more,
right?
yeah, like a finished kind of a game, even though it's minor. Stuff like that. I'd like to see more. So I
Just
think
makes
that's
you
pretty
feel
cool.
good. It makes you feel like you accomplished something.
Yeah.
A- And
Well, and
as
it
of
feels like
right
it
now,
works, right? Like it's a
yeah,
system that works, and it's not just like an isolated thing, that
exactly.
they put into the
A-
game and abandon. It's like this plugs into this, which plugs into this, like
As
makes it
of right
feel a
now,
little bit more complete.
the ground vehicle does not have any point, right? So with this,
No,
it just except for ROC, but with this, it actually might uh,
yeah. And you noted
allow
here
you
that
to
there's no weapons
sandboxy
on it,
kind of do it. There's no weapons on it. I love that.
which I think is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the
I
idea
think
of no. We don't need weapons on everything.
no, yeah. Hell, I mean, like I think that like the Dragonfly, for example, shouldn't come with weapons stock. Like that should be either a variant, like a military variant of it,
Or just
or
have mounts. You don't have to, like if
yeah.
you want to
Well,
put weapons on.
if I'm not
Although
mistaken, they kind
Dragonfly,
of
you
did
can
that with
sit
the
behind and like shoot
yeah, yeah, sure. That's fine. But I mean like actual mounted weapons. Like doesn't need it. Why does the Nox have guns on it? Like
because it's
that should
badass.
be it should be an option instead of just like the norm.
Maybe it's gonna be an
But
option. We know there's two variants of Nox. It's Nox and Nox Cool, but
yeah,
um, the truth is, I'm sure they're gonna change a lot of these things. I just
yeah,
hope we're
sure.
gonna have ships without guns as well. Like,
You know what? Here's something to think about too that doesn't get talked about a lot, but is something that we're gonna end up having to actually consider down the road, or we might anyways, is that guns are components that, like right now, if you lose a gun on your ship and you come back to a space station, you
it
just
just
click
repairs it.
repair and it comes
Yeah,
back for stock, fee. Well, that's not gonna be the reality long term,
it
right?
wouldn't
Like
make sense. Yeah,
if you lose
exactly.
a gun, that gun is gone and you have to buy a new gun to put on that mount, right?
Or you pick it
And
up,
so
fix it, and reuse it
yeah. Sure, sure,
if
sure,
you're
sure.
lucky.
But with respect to like ground vehicles and stuff like that, like why would you be driving around with another wear part? You know what I mean? Or if that money is, or if that
Should be
weapon
situational,
that's
right?
on the that's on the Dragonfly is worth a couple grand, well, and you're just cruising around with it, why, like if you're not planning on using
Wait, but
that
you can
gun,
do
why
that.
would
You
you
can do
have it
that.
on there?
You
Sure, sure,
can
but right now it
dismount.
doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah, yeah.
reason there's no reason that you wouldn't have a gun on there because it doesn't really make a difference, right? Like, it doesn't affect the weight of the vehicle. It doesn't affect the, like your power draw. Not really, anyways. It can kind of, I think, maybe affect your signature,
Of
and
course
then,
it
like I
does.
said, like the value of the weapon itself isn't a consideration when
This is another
when
thing.
you're
We talked about this once, and I'll remind you now with this. I, I don't want every ship to have a gun. And the
yeah,
stupid thing is, some ships have guns that they're useless. You never use them. So
yeah,
on
yeah,
a prospector, you have two. What the fuck do I? Why am I wasting power on this? Why am I making my signature higher? And what am I going to
yeah,
do with these guns in the first place? If I turn around, I will just keep spinning like a crazy.
yeah.
Which it should be like that. It's not a combat ship. So I just wish there were more ships without any. I want my 400i without weapons.
Well, this is something that I think will be interesting to see if it pans out, right? Like, I'm just curious to see if at some point, if your 400i is just literally your day-to-day commuter, that there's, like you would take those guns off you know, because why would you have them on there?
Because you
Like
can
I
hit something and break off your gun in a
yeah,
tight
exactly.
space, for example.
That's exactly it, right? And then that's potentially, a few thousand credits that are gone now because you broke it because,
And I'm flying in the green space. I'm not like, of
yeah, exactly.
course, something can happen anywhere, but like
It'll
the
it'll
risk
be
is non-existent basically.
It'll be
So
interesting. It'll be interesting,
yeah,
like
we'll see.
because like you said, with the Prospector, for example, like yeah, okay, you have those two mounts on there that are loaded with
Dis-
uh
Distortion, I think,
distortion
but
guns,
yeah.
but like if you get interdicted, you're not going to be fighting your way out of that anyways, right? Like
You
you're
might.
just
It's
not.
the worst part is someone might offer a ransom, and you might accidentally click left click and get yourself killed instead. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm even talking about like NPCs. Like if you get interdicted
Well, you
by
think
a
that NPCs? I think NPCs might be able to stop. You get stopped by police now.
oh yeah yeah
If
yeah
you fire your weapons, they're gonna fire back.
yeah yeah that's what I
That's the
mean, right?
only. I
Like
don't know what else would you have
yeah,
these guns on except for to get in trouble. Like what the hell?
exactly. Yeah,
Of course, I think it should be. It's okay to be an op. You can have
sure.
mounts on it
Yeah
because you're gonna have, I don't know, moist noodle chasing people in a prospector for content, and
yeah sure.
fuck yeah, dude. I would, like that. I'm talking about like when the game is out
Or
and like
sure. Like there are situations where I can like if you had an escort, for example, like if you were a prospector and you know you're going out somewhere where there's where there's a high probability that you're going to get interdicted, your buddy's with you in an actual fighter ship, then you might as well have mounts on there because then at least you can help. You know what I
you
mean?
see.
Like
I think in some ships, literally, like let's say hull A, hull B, that like the moment you expand that ship, it should like remove its guns, in my opinion. Because what, you're gonna like maneuver with that shit and fight? And if you have no guns, literally at all, I think your mindset is immediately like, oh shit, I actually need an escort for this. Because I don't have, because Caterpillar is a fortress, right? You have turrets, you can detach your little thing and then maybe help defend or whatever the fuck. And it's like it's Drake, so it's
yeah.
pirates will use
Well,
it. It makes sense that that thing has guns, right?
it also has less of a chance of running anywhere. You know what I mean? Like at least
Yeah.
like the smaller ships uh like a hull A, hull B, like, theoretically you should be able to at least try to run. But
I
yeah.
just feel like the mindset of the game design would make more sense to me if there are ships like with specific purpose, such as cargo delivery, to for the companies to invest into their safety. So like better shields, better armor, better jump drives
Okay.
instead of
So like
guns. Like why would I have guns
right.
on a hull D? I want to call for help and like sit down and wait for help to come, but survive maybe,
Right.
instead of
Okay.
what I'm
So
gonna
have
like
the option. Yeah. Yeah.
have an
I don't know.
option to change it maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I think ultimately like they've made their decision and everything's got guns. I'm just hoping that down the road, I'm hoping that there is like legitimate reasons why you wouldn't want to have guns on those mounts. That's what I hope. I hope
Sure.
that
Well, yeah, that's yeah. I would
comes
also
to
like if
pass.
the like majority of the ships, except for like special, like if you're buying a fighter, you need a stock loadout. But if you're buying any other kind of a ship, it comes stock without guns, and then you
Yeah.
can aftermarket guns, if you want to, which is fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in that case, that's what I'm saying. If you want guns on
Right.
your
Put the guns on there. Yeah.
reclaimer, you do you, bro. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like cuz like at the other part of me is kind of like from a game perspective, if I'm in a hull A or B or something and I'm flying in green space and I get jumped with like a random pirate encounter and it's like an aurora,
What are these
you
guns
know?
going to do?
Like I guess at least if I have guns on there and it's just an NPC aurora, I have a shot
But
of
why?
taking that
You
thing in
also have a
potentially.
shot of just saying
Could I run?
goodbye and leaving that aurora there. What
Yeah, I
what
mean
is that aurora going to do to you?
I don't know. That's what it comes down to, right? Like in theory, if I couldn't escape that, like if it's faster than me, we don't know how quantum travel is going to work later on down the road. But I guess
Well,
if it's
that
as
should
easy
be
as just
an option.
pulling
That's what
up
I'm
a
saying.
drive and just jumping out, then okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like if I can't outrun them for some reason, and it's like an aurora, I mean, at least I have some chance, with those guns on there.
Do you?
But yeah.
Should you have a chance?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I think you should have
From a
higher chance
game,
of calling for help, even the NPC help for a fee, and being able to you know, all power to shields, you know,
right.
immediately all
Yeah,
power to shields and just wait
yeah,
for the help, right?
maybe. Yeah, because that's the other thing to think about is like the other way to think about it would be like there would have to be some way to like to make yourself safe against those, because like how much would it
Yes.
suck, for example, if you were like, let's use World of Warcraft as an example, like you can't attack at all and there's a boar following you like a level 1 boar poking you and there's nothing you can do about it, and
Well,
and
that's why
eventually
the
you
boar
die
goes
because
back,
that.
right? No, but boar will not follow you forever, right?
Right,
But here's
right,
the thing:
right.
I play a lot of healers, and my favorite PvP class in World of Warcraft is Discipline Priest, and we're talking like from
Yeah,
the old days
yeah,
onwards,
yeah, yeah,
or a
yeah,
paladin, or a holy paladin. So if I get attacked by two rogues with a holy paladin, well, I mean, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bubble Hearthstone, right? And I'm not
yeah,
going to go to a place where I can't do that if these things are on cooldown. Very simple. And then they're gonna be pissed off, but I will be alive. Somewhere else, I'm not gonna have to run for my corpse or whatever. If
yeah,
I'm playing a priest, I'm gonna toss my shield up, AoE fear, run,
yeah,
shield
yeah.
up, run, and then I'll see a
And hope that they
warrior,
lose.
and I'm gonna
Yeah.
toss a shield and he'll be like, help! He's gonna charge in, we're gonna turn around and kick their butts. I'm gonna support this warrior. I'm not going to try and fight two rogues. If it's one on
Yeah.
one, maybe I can because I'm PvP player, whatever. But you know what? That the idea
Yeah, yeah.
is like in real life, even in a war zone, if you see a bus coming, you don't expect fucking guns on the bus, right?
That's true.
But
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
it, let me put this into like current ship situation. Like if we are going through a war zone in cruise ship, which believe it or not, it happens. What happens is you have strict orders. We talked about this. Everyone, crew and guests, everyone goes. If you get attacked by pirates, everyone goes into the middle of the ship where you're the safest in case the RPG goes off or something. That the ship hull will protect you as much as you can until the help comes. You might have a couple of snipers on the roofs, in the nests potentially, uh, and even they will not engage because they're just there in case of if they actually board the ship or whatever. And you wait for help. This
Yeah.
actually is a thing, because some waters are just not safe and cruising still
Yeah.
happens there. Um, we don't install fucking 420
Yeah.
millimeter guns
Deck
on a
guns.
cruise
Yeah.
ship, okay? Even in the wartime, during like World War II, you had these ocean liners being in service, uh, you know, taking troops from Europe to NA and vice versa. And yes, even my favorite ship, which is Olympic, we talked about it, encounters a submarine. Yes, they have like some, pom poms or whatever, like some small caliber to like fend off a little bit, and even that is for until the help comes, or fucking Olympic rams the submarine and breaks it in half. But you know what I mean? Like they're not going to mount fucking actual turrets on a cruise ship. It's just not how it works, or a cargo ship or whatever. Instead, you have your own way of protection. So you know who to call immediately. You know which way to you know where to change course towards so that they can intercept you potentially. You know where to hide on board your ship in case there's an emergency. You know your way around the
Though
ship to escape, right?
you did kind of point out that like even in modern scenarios, like they had like for example in wartime, like those the shipping in the Atlantic had like, you know, small weapons on there and stuff like
Yes,
that,
but
right?
the
But
the
that's technically all you have in Star Citizen,
yeah, but you
like.
don't have it in peacetime, Maso. That's the thing. You're creating a world in Star Citizen, an MMO. No, it's you. I just hope that we're not always in like
Right, in
war
danger of.
mindset. Yeah,
Right, but
like
they have said that they're building this game with the intention that, like, space is dangerous. That's why
space is
all these guys, so
dangerous,
yeah,
right? You can
so we'll have to see.
encounter
Like, there's gonna
fire on your
be.
ship, gas. I don't know, like whatever.
But even in, like they said, even in the high security systems, like, there's gonna be areas that are a little dodgier, you know?
Yes, that's why you have your sidearm, even if you're a cargo holder,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'm curious to see where this plays out. And
W-
I still lean towards your side of things where like I hope that there are situations where it's just like you just wouldn't bother equipping weapons on your ship
I
because it's just a
want
waste.
I want the
But
danger, and of course, this is not even an expectation. This is what I would love the game to become. Where if I'm a cargo hauler and I get jumped, obviously, if I get jumped by 20 players in their ships, GG, I can
yeah,
beg
yeah,
for mercy. But if I get jumped by
exactly.
two of them, that I have a chance of escape or tanking until I can potentially
Until
get
help
some
arrives.
help
Yeah.
in,
Well, and
instead of
like
fighting. I don't
calling
want
for
to
help
be
is
dead in the
calling for
water,
help
of course.
is absolutely like part of the gameplay. I guess why they have
That's
the
an MMO.
beacons.
Yeah.
Like, like the beacon system. That's literally like one of the first things they implemented was that combat assistance beacon, right? So
And
yeah,
before, of course, some ships, when I'm saying cargo hauler, I mean hull series. I'm not talking about Caterpillar. Caterpillar is not the cargo hauler.
yeah,
It's a
that's kind
it's
of
a
a different.
pirate fucking, it's your Hilux basically. It's like that thing needs to have guns on board. It's like it's made for whatever the fuck you want to do with it, right? So that's
Well,
different.
Drake's whole thing is like
Yeah.
is
I don't
they
mind
market to the
guns on any
people
Drake ships.
like
Even salvage, right?
they market to the frontiers where those guns are absolutely
Correct.
necessary.
Maybe you can have something like, let's say you have Hull E, for example, but you're going to the war zone. So you can hire escort, but maybe you can also reduce the potential cargo you're carrying for better plating or better
Yeah,
shields,
yeah,
because there might be danger. You're going to be a primary target. So what you need to do is survive, not kill. How are you going to kill retaliators in a hull? Like, anyways, I'm getting
yeah,
so heated up about this, but it's interesting. This is why we love Star Citizen, I guess.
yeah.
All right. Again, that's like just my point of view. Neither of us work for CAG and have the power to direct the game or anything, so don't worry if you disagree with me. That's fine. None of us is getting everything we want in this game, so I'm totally okay with this. There's one thing that we missed, and we're done with the news. But there's one thing that we missed during the Jumptown, and I'm just briefly going to bring it up. I think we both agree on this. This is not my idea. I picked it up from someone else, and as the time is going, I've heard it from multiple people again and again, and I just don't understand why they didn't even try with one location being in the cave,
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
creates a completely different dynamic, and you can't just bombard people from the skies, or you can secure the entrance, which brings a completely right. It brings completely different uh, you know, uh, everything basically around the event. So
Yeah.
someone can actually
Well,
hold it, and
there's a bunch of that sort of feedback that's been happening, which I think
exactly.
legitimately you will see changes. Like for example, like the whole no two entrances, is a
Yeah,
criticism that
yeah.
I've heard frequently. Um,
Which
because
is
that's not
funny. Like
conducive
we
to
go
good
back
gameplay.
to
Is it though? Who designed
MSR.
this?
What is that? What?
This jump well, okay, I'm sure he probably wasn't the level designer, but we've already kind of
Oh,
talked about
that's
like
what you're
how
saying.
the guy who is in charge of this event admittedly hates PvP.
True,
He
true,
said
true.
so himself.
Yep. And
So,
no one
like
mentions this on any podcast or anything. I'm still mind blown by this.
so an oversight of, not adding a second entrance to a an FPS level,
What
I
I'm
don't know,
saying,
is
well,
not
not
surprising at
FPS
all to
level,
me.
Maso. You can, in your live environment, if your house catches fire, God forbid, you'll break a window and run out, right?
Yeah.
Everything except for MSR should have
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
fire
Yeah.
exit at least. You know
That's
what I
just
mean?
all I'm
Like,
saying. Yeah, yeah, totally. I get it. I'm just saying, like, I'm not surprised that that was an
I know, I know,
oversight
I know. But
this
what I'm
time
saying
around.
is, like, right, these
I
these
don't think it'll
hubs
be
that
going
we are
forward.
having, these hubs are made by Consolidated Outland, what's the name of the ship?
The Pioneer,
Pioneer. Why is
in
Pioneer not making
hypothetically, yeah.
uh, double exit, hubs or whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
They
I
should
mean,
change this really. Like, you need to have two exits. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I think, like, honestly, like, like we've seen that they're wanting to change outposts in general, right? Like,
Hmm.
how many videos did we see last year about like changing the way that these kind of outposts look and feel? So I
And
think
just,
ultimately it's probably just just the assets they
of
have right
course,
now, and
it's gonna be.
yeah, we'll
But I
see.
want to say, just seeing Jumptown visually was so refreshing because it's not your regular fucking outpost. It's a little bit different, and it's like, okay, where do I park? Like, it
Yeah,
visually looks different, which is always nice to see.
yeah.
Okay, we are done with the news, which is probably the majority of our show today, anyways, because we don't have IC and SCL, and we are going to jump into our topic. Um. All right. So, why or should the events be removed from the game, or should they be there for like always, all the time? And when I say events, it's what they call dynamic events, but they're not very dynamic. I mean, they are
No.
in a way because they appear and disappear when they turn them on and off.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Compared to the like single objective missions we've had up until this point, they're dynamic
Yes.
insofar as like the objectives change and progress as you complete different parts, and they potentially have different outcomes. But yeah, I think this is going to be a short topic here, man, because like, why are events being removed from game? I don't know. I don't think they should be. The only reason I can think about is that maybe it's like a server resources thing where, like they can't have
Hmm.
Xenothreat happening at the same time as
It doesn't have to happen at the same
Jumptown.
time. So,
Yeah.
to clarify this, I don't think that Jumptown, Xenothreat, and Ninetales and whatever other event happens should be 24/7 active all the time.
Mm.
No, just to clarify that, because maybe the way I explained it at the beginning, or worded it comes up with that. No, what I'm saying is, I I don't want them to be these 2 weeks we're having Jumptown, and then we don't have it for a year or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You want it to be something that can like continue to
it's
happen
there
as it's triggered,
exactly,
or even on a schedule, frankly.
even on a
Even a schedule would
schedule.
be fine.
Yes,
I wonder, like, do they like with respect to Xenothreat and stuff like that?
Jericho is always
I
there,
wonder
man.
too. It is, but I wonder if like they have to do a hard server restart in order to get, um, in order to like prime Xenothreat on that server. You know what I mean? Like preload all the servers with Xenothreat as like like on a schedule. Like that's the other thing I kind of wonder is like, do they have to like preload Xenothreat basically into a server? Do they have to preload Jumptown into a server in order for them to even have a chance of spawning?
I don't know, but we had two
I don't know
events at the
either.
same time. We had Jumptown and Ninetales, and we also
Yeah.
had
Oh, that's
Xenothreat
true.
and
Ninetales.
Ninetales.
Yeah.
So it's possible
Did
to
they
have more
happen on
than
the
one.
same server? Like, did you ever notice that? Like, did you go from Xenothreat to Ninetales and Ninetales to Xenothreat on the
I
same
don't know,
server?
but would they have like servers that spawn one and not the other? Because
I don't know.
I think right now they flip the switch, and this happens on every server at the same time. It starts on every server at the same time. Now
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ending depends of, except for Jumptown. Jumptown ends on the clock as
At a
well.
set time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Xenothreat doesn't, right? Well, technically it does. I mean, it can be finished a little bit faster if players kill everything, but if no one is working on it, then it just ends, and Xeno win, right? Xeno
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just see it, the reason against it is people will get bored with it and will ignore it, just like they did
Sure.
races, for example.
And honestly, like by the time the end of, you remember when the first Xenothreat was happening, and like you get to like that phase 3, and people had done the phase 3 so many goddamn times that people just stopped doing it. That's a reason. Fair enough. Yeah.
However, if I don't know, is that a reason enough not to have it? Because I might jump in with Esu and you and Rev, and we might want to go and do Xenothread or whatever. And it's like, the 890 jump mission is always there, and who does it? Like, sometimes people do. I was thinking about taking Esu
True, but
there.
there's a little bit more like I don't know if you can really compare those two missions because there's a lot more moving parts involved in
By the way, they
Xenothreat,
need
for
to change that
example.
mission so that you can actually steal that ship. That would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
fucking dope.
yeah. Kill everybody on board and steal the 890.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like for me, like I still feel like it barring any major technical hurdles, I don't know why they don't kind of keep these events kind of running on even if it's a cycle where it's like Xenothreat happens twice a week, Jumptown happens,
Once
I
a
don't know,
week
3 4 times a week,
or
whatever,
more.
you
Yeah.
know. Um like
I
yeah,
It's a
I don't really
communication
understand
again.
because
Like,
it's
if they told us what the reasoning behind it is, we
yeah.
could like say, "Oh, that's okay,"
Because
or
even if you
not.
risk even if you risk people getting bored of them, I still think it's better to have them there than not
That's
because
the
it gives
same
you the
argument as
options,
economy.
right?
Like, what do you care about the economy right now?
Yeah, yeah.
And what do
Why do
you
you
care
care if
if we are
people are
playing it
bored
or
of
not?
these?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does, like,
Because we have an
does it
option, and
matter?
then we
At
can
least it
play or
gives the
not.
option.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like, that's one of the reasons I took such a long break for a couple patches last year was because even though cargo hauling or mining aren't exactly super exciting. They were options, right? And for half a year, 3 quarters of the year last year, those options weren't there. The only real option was PvP or bounties,
Mhm.
you know, and the result of that was that I got fucking bored of flying around my combat ships and I just wanted to do some space trucking every now and then. And it was the option to do that ended up drawing me back to the game when they fixed cargo a little bit. Not because I think cargo is super fun or super great. It's just because I could jump into the game and go, what do I feel like doing? And I think it's the same thing with the events, right? Like having it there gives me the option to go
You do
into
your
a game
cargo
and
run,
go,
and you're like, "Oh,
yeah, what do
Jumptown
I
is
feel like
on
doing?
Yella
Oh,
now.
Jumptown's going. Oh, sweet.
Go
Like I'll go
there.
check that out. Yeah,
There's 3 ships. I'll pass on this." Or,
exactly. Yeah,
shit, there's no one, which means that there's a lot of boxes inside, right? Let me
yeah,
go and grab this fucking money. And then
yeah. It's
someone
just
shows up and
something
whatever,
else, right?
Or
Yeah.
you're playing your cargo and I join your server and I'm like, "Hey, dude, there's Xenothread. You want to go
Yeah,
grab
sure.
a
Jump
ship
into a
and we can go
redeemer and
together?" Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's an option. And then we might
exactly.
fail there. It just doesn't matter. Like, we went there, visited Jericho, like, try.
Yeah. At least it's something. It's the option and honestly, it's been proven to me again by the scenario that I just outlined there that sometimes all I need is for there to be that option there to make me want to play the game. To know that, that there is a broad range of things I can do in that game and I'm not only signing on to do combat or only signing on you know to haul cargo. Like I can do an event, I can do whatever, like I don't see a lot of reason for there to not be events going in the game at all times
You could
unless, like
argue
I
that
said, there's
that
some
would be
sort of
boring as
technical.
well because, it gets
It would
old.
get sure it would get there eventually. It would get boring eventually. Like, but who
But that's not a
cares? I
reason.
mean, no,
The
it's not a
more
reason
options you
exactly.
have, the more variety. That's where the
Yeah.
sandbox come in. Like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, Like, but if I'm very limited to, and you could argue, well, even now you have a lot of things to do.
Well, yeah,
Fucking
but
cargo hauling doesn't work properly.
why don't you want more things to do though?
Yeah,
Like that's you know,
the
variety is
delivery
good.
missions are FPS, just like bunkers. I don't know. And then you can do bounty hunting, or you can try hunting down people, but they can log off.
Sure,
You're very limited right now in the game, honestly.
sure.
Very
Like, but
limited.
the point of the point of all this is like there are things to do in the game right now. Sure, if you feel like doing those things, but
But
why
there
wouldn't
could
you
be
want
more.
more things to do?
Exactly. Yeah.
And yes, okay, eventually I might get bored of all the things that are in the game, but that's that's how games work, you know? That's how MMOs work too, you know? Like, eventually, you're
Also,
gonna exhaust all the content, and it's either up to you to find something entertaining for yourself to do out of the options that are available in that game, or go play a different game, you know?
or how many times do you kill the same world boss in World of Warcraft?
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
why you killed it? Because it drops currency that you need,
yeah,
or an item. So
yeah,
if you can always incentivize players to go once a month and do Xenothreat, or once a
yeah,
week, right? Because
yeah,
they're
totally.
gonna make bunch of money. They can show someone a javelin, you know, or they can try to
Yeah.
steal it or whatever, you know, like they're
Rep?
yeah.
Like, you know, like
Rep,
rep was the
exactly.
reason that a lot of people did freaking
Yes.
repetitive things that they otherwise found boring. It's because it furthered progression, right? Like, even if they were not necessarily super stoked on the gameplay, like, there was a reason to do it, you know? And sometimes that's all that you need to kind of like get yourself back into the game. Not that I'm necessarily, advocating for really grindy rep mechanics in Star Citizen,
Well,
but
listen,
you
I
know,
want grinding mechanics as an option, really.
yeah, as an option, exactly. Yeah.
Like risk reward goes there. Like I can sometimes just want to watch a TV show and mine in EVE Online,
Yeah,
and
100%.
sometimes I'm gonna go and explore fucking what's the name, hole in my Astero, and like spam that scanner all the time because a probe
Yeah,
might
you're
appear
you're
and
you're
kill me.
fully focused. You're
Yes,
yeah,
and if I
you're
find something anomaly, I can get out with
yeah,
like as much money as I would be mining for like 6 hours while I'm watching Peaky Blinders
w
or whatever the
like
fuck, you know, I'm
exactly,
doing.
like, that's the beauty of MMOs,
That's
right?
the
It's
beauty of
it's
sandbox MMO. That's
sure, sure,
like
sure.
literally
Yeah.
why we love sandbox.
Yeah, because you have such a broad spectrum of gameplay available to you depending on what you wanna do. It's
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, I don't know, like I said, I felt like this was potentially going to be a short topic
Yeah.
simply because I agree with you. I don't understand why they're removing them. I don't give a shit about the lore behind Xenothreat, and nobody should at this point. I mean, they're literally retconning the lore constantly,
This is
and
pre-game anyways,
yeah,
man. Like
exactly.
when the game starts, it's gonna be important if something repeats or not. But right now, it's alpha. We're just testing. And what?
Yeah,
Like Xenotrade is coming back for a third time anyways. It's supposed to be one time event. The first time they did it, and then they were like,
yeah,
you know what,
yeah,
we're gonna do it again and again and again. Sure, then just let us have it. And y- this will segue into our next into Imagination Station. I will use this again. Um, but to like kind of like wrap it up is, again, to no surprise, the only issue I have with this is, please tell me why.
yeah.
Because
Tell us what's
for
going
all I
on. Why?
know,
Yeah,
your reasoning could be the economy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or you could tell me, listen, guys, we don't have space on the
Uh,
servers to do it, unfortunately,
yeah,
right now. And I'm
yeah,
gonna be a bummer. But okay, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
reasonable,
yeah.
right? Like
Exactly. Like, if
you
there's
you
that
lack
technical hurdle,
yeah, exactly, and
yeah.
that's fine. But if you're telling
But if
me,
it's
oh, you guys, you think you want it but you don't because you're gonna be bored with it in
don't
the
fucking tell me what I
meantime.
want.
Yeah. Like, because that's why I want that, because you know why else, because if they tell you, oh, it's economy, and then you see the fucking outcry of every content creator in their chat and everything, which they are actually listening to, they don't always uh,
Yeah.
do whatever we think is right, but they hear. We know Star Citizen is great at that. Like Xylo is everywhere. You can see him in chats. You can see him. He
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
And but then
So if they
they
say the
can hear us
economy,
as well. Yeah,
exactly, and we
exactly.
say, what economy? Please just put it in because it's
Yeah.
fun. That
At
that
least they
could
know.
potentially, at
Like
least
they
they
might
know
still
exactly.
keep their thing, but they know how we feel about it, and that's very healthy in my opinion. Which I think back and forth is very important when we are the ones who are funding the project and all that yada yada. I know everyone's tired of me saying that, but it's true. I'm sorry. Yeah. Would be so great to have the explanation.
Yeah. When are they starting up their video content again? Have they
Nobody
said that?
knows, not even Board Gamer. He's like,
Hmm.
maybe next week, which is what he said last week. But then he
Which is
said,
what he
I
did the
wouldn't
week
be
before.
surprised if it's the week after. And I'm like, okay, not like he
No.
doesn't
Okay,
know.
so
No
nobody
one knows.
knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
is,
no,
I
there's
mean, it's
nothing here.
fine, whatever. If they don't have anything to say, I'd rather not have it than have, I don't know,
Right.
something
Right.
stupid.
I guess that's the only thing is you just keep tabs on there when they do their This Week in Star Citizens, because
Oh yeah,
then
they
you'll know
announced
if it's
it. They
coming out
announced
that
it.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be nice. Yeah, we need something.
We need it as
Um,
content creators. We need it definitely. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So this could have been a nice segue, but it's fine. We're gonna like go back to it. We're gonna switch to Imagination Station. I think we might expand on this a little bit more. However, it's fine. We knew this is going to be a shorter episode. However, we are 2 hours in already, my friend. So
That's short for us. That's
it's
really
short for
short.
us, but it's far from short.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to bring this up because I had some heated conversations in some YouTube comments with people, and Mike is someone who sparked my imagination on this, and like kind of salty Mike, by the way, kind of accidentally made me think about the importance of PTU. Um, we get uh, we have this problem right now, or CRG has it, where less and less people are playing PTU, and it will go even further because there's more and more things to do in game. The more enjoyable and engaging the PU is, the less will people invest their time on PTU, which is, for those who don't understand, PU is public universe where we play our game with persistence, except for the resets, but like that's where the game is being played. PTU is public test universe where it resets very occasionally. They drop new stuff, there are new features for people to test before they bring it to PU. My question is, how can they make it better? And I have a couple of ideas, but before that, why is it important that we have people on PTU? Because things need to be tested, and I am first person who will say I don't like the idea of people paying to QA. But the reality is, in a massive game like this, while it's possible, the results will always be better if you have not only more testers, but also testers who don't know anything about the background of it, or less than the developer. If developer is testing his own tech in the back, and this is not to point figures of anything, we're like, if you think about yourself, you have this process with yourself somewhere whenever you're like trying something or testing, you know, you know the whole like background of it, and you know which mistakes you're going to encounter or whatever, and you can filter things. Like we filter things, like just think about it, like in PU, even when
Well,
you're playing the game, you're jumping around bugs all the time, right?
yeah.
Because you know they exist, so you're
There's a
not getting caught in
reason
them.
that writers have editors.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
important to get their eyes. But I think there's more to that. There's also just a simple fact that, like, even if you have a large paid QA department, you are not going to be able to test the millions upon millions of different scenarios. You just physically don't have the numbers and time to do that, right? Whereas, like, when you open it and you have, a couple thousand people, testing all those various permutations,
Yes.
you're gonna be able to accomplish and figure out bugs or situations, encounter those, more than well, it's going to be possible as opposed to being frankly impossible with
Even with
a
that,
like a limited
some
QA
things
department. But,
will go through. But
oh,
my
sure,
first
yeah.
thought was like, big AAA studios, even for MMOs, are not doing this, or
Mm,
are rarely doing
Blizzard
this.
WoW had open PTUs where
Yeah,
you could
but
jump
hear
in
me
and
out.
test
Like
different maps.
that's semi new, right? So for 10 years or so, Blizzard internally tested, because what happens is if you open a new raid on PTU, and these
Oh, right.
testers
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
in
They're gonna
advantage
get the world
in the
first
world first and stuff
because
like that, right?
yeah, yeah.
So Destiny 2 doesn't, I don't think, it still doesn't get testing because they have to keep it a secret. However, what is really important, and I did not think about this earlier, is these are theme park MMOs. So you have a closed
Yeah.
encounter raid. So if you, and it's limited to 40, 20, 10 people, whatever. So that's the amount of people. You just let people test it for like 100 times in a row, and eventually they might encounter a problem. In a sandbox MMO, space MMO, with such vast space and opportunities, possibilities, even in alpha, it's so much more difficult for sure to catch the bugs. So, or issues. Um, there's another thing that Mike brought multiple times, and I had to like stop and wrap my head around it. Um, it's like very, someone should really make a video about this to make it more concise. But I would be okay with PU not having not 4 phases, 4 major patches, but barely any. I would be okay with PU being updated on demand when they have enough tech and stuff to put into it. Hear me out.
I hear you, but I've been here.
PTU, on the other hand, could run all the time
Right.
in the cycle that we have right now. This will allow people who don't feel like testing the game that much to actually play the game any way they want, right? Now, the solution for this, I'll give you 2, and we might break this down further. And I want to hear your take on this. So, one idea that I've had, and this was so just listen to me. The ideas come to mind, and I'm not saying listen to me, Maso. I'm saying listen to me, you, the viewer. We get ideas. We're humans. I take myself as someone who can come up with the idea, and very often these ideas are wrong because in my head they make sense, but then someone points out something that I did not think about because the idea comes up on the spot. And a lot of people pointed out that I was wrong, and I agree and disagree with this, but I'll explain. I said, why not give PTU access for free? That's all I said, like for free to people who don't have a pledge at all. So anyone can join PTU to try the game, and they can play there as much as they want. Because the PTU can have constant resets, maybe even multiple times a day, whatever, so they don't get progression. If they get, so this was my first train of thought. Okay, if they get hooked on the game, they're gonna pay $45 and go into PU and actually have persistence and play with other people. The downside of this, which I did not think of, but the first thing someone brought up was, you really want the new player to go into PTU? Have you ever been? The guy literally asked me, have you ever been to PTU? Like, you obviously don't know what you're talking about. Which I did play PTU at the beginning, and I know it's very buggy. So I agree with him. It's maybe not the best idea. But then the counterpoint to that is PU really that much better? I mean, it's better, don't get me wrong. But you need to be a special kind of person to it's like lottery, right?
That's why but here's the thing, like that's why I think that there's structure right now where they start with a more select group in PTU and then move to wider PTU. That's why I think that actually works out rather well, because those initial patches where people are jumping into are the worst for stability. And by the time you get to a point where it's open PTU, for the most part the bugs are,
it works on paper. It's deteriorating. You're getting less and less avocados. These are the facts.
Do we know this though? Like, where's the data coming from there?
It's
like with fewer and fewer people on PTU, because like literally every fucking content creator, as soon as a PTU patch rolls out, they're playing PTU.
Content creators are not enough, man. Like,
yeah, but like it generates that demand.
And they're not
for
playing avocado versions. They're not playing.
No,
they might be playing first wave sometimes, and but there's. I mean, let's think about it. Like, there's no incentive to be on PTU. Even if you go to PTU, you're gonna go check one thing and then, okay, that's how it works. Bye. So the iteration in my head of this that I really want to hear I hope this will be like the most comments ever that we had in a video, because these are things that I would really like to hear perspective of as many people as I can. I'm really curious about this. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
like
like
how to
make
make it
people
better.
answer. I'm not that guy that like, oh, please
Yeah, let me know in
comment
the
for the
comments below.
YouTube
Yeah.
logarithm. I don't care. It's fine. But I'm genuinely interested. And what if you could get an access to PTU for free if you used someone's referral code?
Okay,
Because
that's an idea.
right, because
Yeah.
then you have someone to hold their hand and be like, hey, come here with me to PTU because I don't, or or ask question because you have a referral. Now the issue with this is there's like free referral codes flying around all the time, right? So you can just go
Sure,
and
sure, sure.
watch someone's
But
video.
generally, the people who are using a referral code
Yeah.
know at least somewhat what's up with Star Citizen.
Or the content creators and other people who are avid players of the game like us, or well, we are bot, but you know what I mean, like
See,
Esther could
but
come
that
to me and say, hey man, how's Star Season going? I can tell her, listen, there's a really rough PTU patch right now, but I can give you an access to it and we can jump in together and you can like try it and you can play for as much as you want, and then if you like it you can proceed into PU. So she
see,
gets to use my referral, I get the benefit, she gets the benefit, she tests the game. What's the
yeah.
downside of this?
Well, the downside is like they already pointed out, like there are a lot of people who might. Well, okay, like restricting it to the referral code, I think is good because that way, like they could, like the person whose referral code they're using potentially could just say, like,
You have some
this is what
connection,
the
right?
PTU is. This is
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to be really rough, as opposed to like just a rando jumping into PTU and being like, this game is broken as shit. I'm not paying money for this. Um, but I still don't know how that really incentivizes people to play PTU, right? Like,
What do
so
you mean?
yeah, okay, she can play for free, but like how long is she going to play and how much actual testing is she or they are they actually going to do, you know? Like
Never
how do you.
underestimate 14-year-olds who don't have money to pay for the subscription. I live in Balkans,
That's
dude.
fair.
I
That's
am
fair.
telling you right now, I know so many people playing games like World of Tanks or World of Warships and never paying a thing, or similar games.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
No.
be online, EVE Online, and making money in game because they can't afford, but they would want to try, they would want to play. And what? Let's listen, dude. We all know how powerful the induction into Star Citizen is, regardless the bugs, right?
Yeah.
So if you manage to get into your ship and take off for the first time, you will, if you are a fan of this kind of a game,
Yeah.
potentially, you will come back to it a couple more times at least. Um,
100%.
the downside is these people potentially might not give money back to CAG, but what is worth more?
Yeah,
A
exactly.
free
Yeah.
tester or $45? Because this person will not give you more than $45 anyways.
That's
Or
fair.
or you will hook someone on for much more than $45. Because the person who goes from that to a game potentially will spend more. They know what they're going into. They might start with a Titan because they already know that Aurora is shit. And I'd be okay with limiting these people to like start to ship as well on
Yeah,
PTU,
well, and essentially, like
right?
you said, I mean, I think the important thing is like they technically are paying with their testing time.
Yes.
But yeah, I still think like for like to increase PTU numbers in general, I don't know.
I
Like
have
the reason
creative
I don't
ideas that will
bother.
not work because people find a way around it. But like you could set up a goal. Okay, if you manage to buy 890 jump in game on PTU, you get the free pledge or something silly like that. But then
Yeah,
someone will
I
just
know
lend
that
you the money or something.
in World of Warcraft, whenever my buddies and I were going to to PTU, it
PTU,
was for
yeah.
PvP. It's like to play with the new builds before the new builds are live so you can like figure out,
Head start.
what this talent does,
It's a head
etc.
start.
Just to kind of like, yeah, to like get a feel for things. And I don't know how you'd make that work
You
with Star
can't
Citizen,
because
obviously,
there's
because there's no
no
talents or something like
incentive
that.
in the
But
game.
there is potentially, like, long term anyways, obviously not right now. Like, there's the idea that you could go in there and test this loadout with this ship without actually risking any of your actual money in game.
Yes.
Um, See, and like right now it doesn't
But right
matter
now we
because
have this
nothing
problem.
fucking
Exactly,
matters.
exactly. No, I
But
see how PTU can be useful when we're in beta and things matter already in the game. Not only that, like
yeah,
if you're trying a new, well, you just try the new ship on the PTU before you spend real life money on it. If you know what I mean,
yep,
without grinding
yeah.
for the ship. But that's not testing, man. That's the thing.
Well, but like like again, like I realize that my idea is kind of more like long term down the road, but like, but you are essentially testing in that testing environment if you're going there to test loadouts and stuff like that. Especially because like now that you're more and more able to lose the things that you that you have when you die or something like that. I feel like that incentivizes PTU usage. Um, Right there, simply because there's no risk in PTU, like if you die, it's like, "Pff, whatever, you know? Um,
Here's it just crossed my mind, and sorry for interrupting, but
no, it's fine. That's
you
pretty
need
much it.
this as well. I would say if you have less patches on PU, that means more time like 315 where you can have a stable patch for like maybe 8 months because there's not what comes with 316 one thing is that worth the patch
Yeah,
not
well,
really.
no, and that, like, okay, so my initial aversion to the idea of there only being patches when something is ready comes just from the horror that was basically the 2.0 patch, which was literally a full year of radio silence and no patches. So like I have some I have
I know,
some
but it's
trauma around
different,
that.
right? First
But
of all, the
yeah,
game evolved
but
a lot,
yes, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
then
And
and
that's what I
then
was gonna say.
what are we
Like I
getting with these
agree with
patches
you.
anyways?
Exactly.
It's
I
just like
agree with you
fake.
now insofar as like I don't think that the quarterly patches is worth it. But that's a whole other conversation. But I fully agree. Like I think at this point, quarterly patches are redundant and unnecessary. Like I think we should absolutely go down to 2 patches a year.
For the
Like
sake
I
of
would be
sanity
100% okay
of
with that.
a longtime backer of Star Citizen, quarterly patches mandatory on PTU plus any fucking patches that
Hmm,
PTU has anyways
sure, sure.
would also incentivize people who are can't wait for something to go to PTU and actually check it because they're gonna get it
Yeah.
later in PU because it's gonna take time until we
Yeah,
would
yeah,
also
yeah.
get much more fleshed out gameplay on PU. We would
Yeah.
get the PU to a point where it's actually probably more enjoyable to play just overall.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. Plus also there's the dev time. Like every time they have to branch a
Resources as well.
patch
Yeah.
off of the dev branch, like the main dev branch for like 315 or 316, for example, like those are two separate branches that come off. That's a ton of dev time. They've said that. Like every time they have to fork a branch off for a quarterly patch, it is a ton of work, and so going down to 2 patches for the PT or for the PU, and then just kind of like keeping up more of like a free flowing regular patch, delivery on the PTU where the stability doesn't matter as much. Um, you know, like that's I that makes a lot of sense to me personally.
Before anyone, you know, thinks anything other,
Crucifies us.
yeah, I mean, I'm not stupid, not nor is Maso. They must have come up with these ideas in CAG as well, and there must be a reason why it's not like that.
Well,
However, we don't know
I
these things.
Mm. That's true. Though I think it's pretty safe to speculate at this point that the quarterly patches were something that they promised the community after that huge year where there were no
Yeah,
patches.
and there
Um
was nothing to do as well, right? Like barely any.
exactly. Yeah. Like there was yeah, it was yes, it was dead. The game was dead at that point and nobody knew what was going on. Like you think the communication is bad now. Oh god.
I mean, it can
That
always
was
be worse.
those were
I
bad
understand that.
times.
Yeah.
Those were bad times.
The
But
fact that something was worse before does not make it better now. I'm just saying, like,
no,
bad is
no,
bad.
sure, sure, sure. But all I'm saying is like it was like the reason that they rolled those quarterly patches out were because it was so bad, and they wanted to basically, uh, assuage the community. So, job done, you did it, community is assuaged, but now, like I said, it's getting to a point where that's not necessary anymore, and in fact, arguably, it's more harmful than not. But like you said, I mean, keeping that schedule in the PTU, fine, sure. Like if it's beneficial from a development perspective, uh, and if it
You also
also has
have
a buy blow of incentivizing people to play
yeah.
PTU, then great,
And also,
great.
like, people get pissed off, and you're like, "That's PTU, bro. Calm down." Like, if
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
want to
yeah.
experience it,
If
like, go to
you want more
PU. It's
stable,
gonna
go to
be
PU.
much more
Exactly.
stable. Exactly. Still gonna experience issues because it's alpha, but like not as much. And we just saw it's working now because we are still in 3.15 for such a long time. Is anyone complaining about it? No, not really. I don't think so. Because what is 3.16 even bringing? Like, yeah, we could have had derelict sites for a month longer, but come on.
Nobody, yeah,
Even
yeah.
like I want to play that and I want to see that, but it's gonna be fun for a week and then yeah, it's just gonna like it doesn't really matter on the grand scheme at all.
Yeah, at this point, it absolutely doesn't. But
And then
yeah,
again, I saw them already watching Super Mac Brother Ryan, board game or whatever. Like any content creator that went and checked. If I really wanted to check it, it I can go and check it on PTU, right? Like so yeah, or I can
so,
decide to have better experience
so
and
this
wait.
is a really like loose idea that jumped into my head. So like, well, I don't know.
That's
There's
what I
probably
want.
holes in it, but
Of course.
for the people who are looking for like jump in action in PvP right now, what I wonder if there'd be a way to kind of like incentivize that in the PTU, like so that you could join a PTU server
Okay.
that's, I don't know, smaller and localized maybe somehow, where people just go to just fuck
Well,
each other up in
P2 Arena
PvP.
Commander, I guess. I mean, Arena Commander map
Yeah.
is not huge.
I mean,
It's
in theory, it
okay.
should be theaters of war, but
Yeah.
fuck knows where that is
Okay.
ever.
So
But
with what you just said, this is literally my second. I said I have two
okay.
things to bring up. So the first one would be my option would be let people play for free on PTU with referral code. But obviously, whatever, there's like plus and minus to this. The other one would be incentivize people to play PTU. If you play World of Warships, for example, and they're often like the new ships come out, they're super testers that can play them even in like PU, right? But also there's PTU. So if you go and play on PTU and you play certain amounts of games in certain ships that are being tested and in the ships that are not being tested because obviously they don't want everyone to play the same ship because what kind of testing is that? For for each one you get containers that you can open on PU, which
Mm,
makes it's beneficial. So you'll get containers that have premium time in them, some money, and if it's something like even more, you can maybe get like a camouflage for a ship or something like that.
yeah, yeah. So like
Um,
a skin or something. That's
exactly.
cool. Like, yeah, like a reward for playing PD. Here's another thing I just thought of for the PvP. Like if you really wanted to incentivize people to play PTU, make it, because you know how we've talked about having like leaderboards or whatever in the PU for a while for like, most money made
Yeah,
during for whatever. Well, don't do that in PU then. Do that in PTU. So that if you're PvPing in PTU, like you can actually have a
I
leaderboard.
want leaderboards and seasons in PU. Fuck that.
Well,
But
okay,
yeah,
but for
you're
now,
right.
if
You're
you
right.
if you're trying to incentivize people in
Let's see. That
PTU,
would motivate me to play PTU,
and
man.
then you could say like, like, and you could, like you said, you don't want everybody just playing one ship because it's boring. Like you have leaderboards and dedicated rewards for
It
like,
doesn't matter if it's
I don't know,
PvP. Then you will see what the
highest.
meta is.
Sure, sure, but you could reward the people who are trying to do something outside the meta by basically being like, if you are the leader in kills in this ship,
Mhm.
like you have a separate prize than somebody who is the leader in kills in this ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way you're like incentivizing people to play with different ships, potentially I don't know, like I said, this is like loose idea. I'm just kind of like firing it out there, but
I, I was thinking about
like we know that they can track all this shit.
how can you
So,
in general incentivize a reward in Star Citizen? So you could either give people ship skins, for example, for like a tester skin for
Yeah.
Aurora or something silly after the certain amount of time played in PTU, although people will AFK for that, so that's kind of fucked up. What I think is the best idea so far, I don't know if they can do this, they probably can, but it might require some work and it potential screw ups. This is a very tricky topic, right? So I would say if you want to make it clean, it has to be through the website, right? So it has to be
Yeah.
something like that. But if not, although we know you can get credits on website as well, because
Yeah.
it's part of your pledge. But what I wanted to say is like maybe whatever money you accumulate on PTU once or twice a year transfers to
Yeah.
PU.
I thought about that too, and I feel
It's
like in
too
PTU,
finicky,
well, and there's so many like there's potentially like big
loopholes.
opportunities for
Yeah, yeah,
exploits in
true.
PTU and stuff like that too. But something like if you were literally incentivizing bug hunting too, like most amount of tickets kind of verified or like bugs
It
verified
can be.
or duplicated,
They
you know,
can
like you
get
could have
like
a
bombarded
potential
with like random shit just because people
for
want.
Yeah, yeah, but like that's like they already have that ticket system, right? Like
Mm,
for bug reports, and the person who puts it up there first maybe would get credit for it. But or you could even have it so that if you can verify it and like you because you know how you can verify like that you've duplicated a bug and you can provide like proof that you did it, like screenshots or whatever. So you could have that as well, and then basically so like you know like actually testing for bugs gives you money in the PU, right? Like via the website. Like you get like a packet
yeah,
at the end of the
yeah.
PT cycle or something where it's like
Could be
you
something like
submitted or
armor,
verified, you know,
black and
here's
yellow armor for tester, or
a couple
orange
million
and
credits
black or
or something.
whatever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
or credits. Here's another thing: if we had a proper corp
Oh,
system, then you could give money to an org if the org, like percentage of people from that org tested for a certain amount of time, which let's say Salty Mike has a org and big following and he's like, okay guys, let's smash this so that we can get like enough money for the next
mm,
month, you know what I mean? And then they go together and do Xenothreat
or
on the.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
sort of
But we don't have
organization reward.
corpse,
Like
which
I
fuck me,
like
why do we
riffing
still not have.
off of the skins too. It'd be fun. Like I really hope that eventually we can get like badges that you can put on your ship, kind of a
Mm,
thing.
mm-hmm.
Um, and that would be kind of fun too, just like as like minor rewards, like not only skins but also like badges, like and you could get like potentially one for every PTU cycle that you're in or something
Mm.
like
Like
actively a part of. So
the
like
football
your kill
like
counters.
helmets you have, like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, or kill counter,
Yeah. The
yeah,
like the on the side of the cockpit or
yeah.
on the side of your helmet or whatever, you have
Mm.
like test different test badges or whatever. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there are
The
ways.
problem is I don't know how you like judge how do you gauge the metrics like you know like you said like so that people aren't just like signing in and going AFK, you know what I mean?
I
Like
think you would literally have to dedicate a very small team in CAG that is policing PTU in a way. And I know this
mm,
sounds crazy and like maybe because you have to pay people to do that, right? But at the same time, how much testing can you get with this? You know? And there it might be worth paying 2 3 people to be engaged with, like, this like crossover or whatever. I don't know, like obviously these are all like
right. I've
potentially
never been
very
a part
silly
of
ideas, but
Oh yeah, I've never been a part of Evocati either, but it does sound like Evocati is something where like they're definitely like they're interacting with the devs more directly in that as well. Like they like it does sound like there are devs overseeing the Evocati test because they say like for this test session, you know, like we want people focused on doing this
oh yeah, yeah, they
and
direct them.
you know
The
Hey, I
problem with
guess
that, man,
that's
is
something you
like
could do.
it
In PTU, you just do it like an event essentially. You know, and that's how you incentivize your test or like you gauge your test participation because like, you know, like PTU is open. event starts, like a game master, whoever would start an event, say, we, now sign up to test this thing that we want to test, that we need a bunch of people to like get eyes on and play through. And then like if you're there, you sign up, like you do the event, and then they're like, good job, here's your little badge,
But they can do that within CIG, man. We're talking like I'm talking like much bigger numbers,
No,
PU
yeah, that's
numbers, not
yeah,
TU
that's
numbers,
what I
but
mean though. That's what I mean. Like in wider PTU, so like you're playing PTU, and like you just see like the server text come on like in your chat that basically says like focus testing,
hmm.
happening at this like, fly to Daymar, you know, and then a dev basically just spawns in and says, and gives you like something that they want you to test, you know what I mean? Or do you think that's still
No, it'd be cool. I don't know if they have
too
tech for
focused?
that, for dev to show up and tell, and then how many
Oh, sure they
servers
do.
and whatnot.
We've seen them spawn in tons of things.
Yeah, yeah,
But I don't know,
but I
like
don't
if
know.
they could somehow do that cross servers or whatever, and that way the system, the mission system itself is tracking participation in the PTU, and it'd be easier to like
Wait, I
reward
don't
people.
think, you have any connection between PU and PT.
No, that's what. Wait, what do you mean? That
Like tracking, connecting. What do you mean? Maybe you
well,
can
like
get
the
the message
devs.
in PU, but yeah.
No, 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 no. Sorry, that's not what I mean. I mean in PTU. Like if
Ah,
you're
ah.
logged into the PTU and playing,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if the devs
You
wanted
get
something
summoned basically.
specific, it would be like an event. Yeah, like that would come up, and you just like it would utilize the mission system to gauge who actually was testing,
Participating. Yeah.
and then rewarding the people who were there
And then
and
some people
testing.
will misuse it and get whatever the skin or whatever the fuck is reward, but it's
Maybe, but
fine.
who
Like
cares? Yeah.
not many people will. Like you always have these rotten tomatoes.
Yeah.
Sorry, tomato, rotten
Yeah. Rotten
potatoes.
space tomato.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense that it's that it's just a thing where the more the more of incentive there is to play on PU, the less people will play on PTU. It just
Yeah.
and the
Well, as
closer we
evidenced
get
by
to
both
like
of
the
us,
game,
right? Like we've both spent
exactly.
probably at least 1,000 hours or close to that, like
Oh,
in
I've
Star
spent much
Citizen.
more.
I think I've played 2 PTUs maybe in the
I
entire
played a
time I've been.
couple at the very beginning, and that was just to see the new
Yeah.
ship, not really
Yeah,
play.
exactly. Yeah.
Spawn
I
a
wasn't
ship
actually
in
testing,
PO, and
because why
that's
would
it.
you? Because there's no, like unless you're
So there
using
are
it for
some people
content.
who do it. Content is one thing, and then some people just feel that kind of bless them. I'm not religious,
Yeah.
but fucking thank you for doing what you're doing. But they get that probably a good feeling of them helping the project,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, fair enough.
So, but I think the amount of people who do that for nothing, percentage wise, is like very very low, which makes them even better. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for sure for doing that if you're one of them. But if like, yeah, if you want people to test, you have to incentivize. Like, this has been proven so many. The reason people sign up for World of Warcraft testing of a new raid is because then day one they can clear more than they would be able to, and it's either bragging rights or fucking world first prize or whatever. As you said, testing for PvP, of course, day one I can jump into the arena and start using my macros and whatnot, and I know what's going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Star Citizen you don't have that kind of a thing. Like I've said, World of Warships, World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, they have a system, but that's a fully function. These are fully functional games where you can just reward the counts that are testing on the actual server, which for a lot of people who can't afford to pay subscription or whatever, even though granted you don't need it, but it boosts your account very well.
Yeah.
You go and play a couple of days on or like a couple of hours on PTU, and then you get premium time on PU for a week or whatever. Sure. If you're a kid or someone who just doesn't feel like spending money, why would you not do it? And then on top of that, you're doing a good thing, right?
Yeah.
For developing the game. But there doesn't need to be some incentive, but I almost feel like CIG is losing
No, there
potentially
does.
if they don't utilize something like this.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, I guess to close this off, unless you have kind of more stuff to say, I think like they're the ones clearly that have the numbers of like who's actually participating in PTU, and ultimately it's up to them to decide whether or not it's worth kind of incentivizing PTU. And I think up until this point, clearly they haven't, because they're
Yeah.
still just running PTU as normal. But
I just find
yeah,
this
you're
like
right, and then it
someone
might
mentioned
be.
it and I liked the topic and I was like, listen, there's I think a lot of us have opinion on this when you like break it down
Yeah.
and yeah.
Well, here's something that I would like to see the data on for sure. Like, it does feel like the last few times we've had a PTU, it's got to wave one and like open PTU much
Immediate,
faster than it
right?
has
Right?
previously. Yeah, so maybe I don't know. Like, like we don't have the numbers, but like
No.
I wonder if it is that like that PTU numbers are falling and they're opening it up faster because because they need the people in there.
I'll tell you
But yeah.
something, Maso, and you, the listener. The job that I got recently as a community manager, you do a couple of things. Like in general, this is just a general thing about community management in any MMO or similar games, where you have to interact with the community or that kind of bridge between community and the development studio. And obviously, you are part of these events and whatnot. You stream for the usually for on the official channels and whatnot. But there's another thing that community managers do, and it's part of their job, and that's watching streams, watching content, streams, YouTube videos, and stuff like that. And this is one of the reasons why this part will be so easy for me. That it's insane how many hours I spend daily on Twitch as a viewer.
Mm.
And as you do that, like this is my second nature. I've been doing this since Justin TV, as I've mentioned many times before. So goes way back. You start hearing things and when some things, like obviously there's margin for error always, but sometimes you just know that some things sound more serious than the other, like rumors, and because of the sources, because of how people say it and whatnot. And the
Yeah.
feel currently, my current feel is that there's I'm not gonna say like alarming or anything like that, but it feels like there's definitely a lot less people testing than before. Not because they don't feel like testing, just because they feel like playing on PU, because
Mm.
servers are stable, events are happening,
Yeah.
persistence is there, you can buy ships, and then you're dead. Also, people are progressing in their lives as well. Like you can never forget about that. Like someone who was
Yeah. Yeah.
14, or no, I'd say 16, and was testing and playing like bot servers, now is 24, working,
Yeah.
potentially married, maybe
Yeah.
waiting for a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Maybe working on a degree or something like that.
exactly,
Yeah.
whatever,
Like doesn't have
studying.
the
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't have the
So,
time to like, to play PU and PTU now,
exactly,
they have to
exactly.
choose, so they're going to
It
choose
this game
PU,
this game has been in development for a while, and of course, you have influx of new people who are, testing or not,
Yeah.
content
Well, that
creators and
goes back
whatnot.
to your
But yeah,
original thing, right? Like your original point, but the new people who are coming in don't have access to PTU because they're not concierge. They haven't
true.
been around for 10 years. They're
Yep.
not they're not subscribers. Like they're
When it comes to concierge, or rather evocati in general, when
well,
again,
concierge and Evocati aren't, like I'm not Evocati, but I'm concierge.
I don't know, but evocati have access. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay.
Like, but you have
Yeah,
to
yeah. Okay,
request
I see. Yeah.
evocati and get it approved. And I'll give you another anecdote. So recently, Wargaming hired several community managers, me being one of them, and I'm not working for them yet because visa and all that stuff. However, some other people are working, and there's a content creator. There's a community manager that just started on. I'm not gonna go with any names or anything, but like we just started working on in NA region for NA servers, because it's like split per regions. And when he started working there, they checked his social media and in-game accounts. Social media, there were some issues because of some political views, and I'm not going to go into that. Um,
Okay.
but the game account, he only has like 170 games played in the game, which is very very low. I personally have probably across all the accounts about, just to put it into perspective, probably between 10 and 12,000 games played, and
Hmm.
I know people who have like 50 plus thousand games played, right? So you have to understand, like, the knowledge that I have acquired throughout these 10,000 games should be enough to understand what the community is telling me. However, obviously there was pitchforks immediately, because how can this person manage community? What people don't understand is community manager, uh, any community management position is not something that everyone wants to do. You expose yourself to angry mob that is literally people who are who are attacking this person, um which from their perspective makes sense, and I understand it, uh but also it's not only being good at a game. You have a lot of people with a lot of experience in game, and knowledge about it. They have their own job. They want to spend time playing the game. They're not interested in, in relocation or whatever. What I'm trying to say is, you can't just get certain positions filled on demand. It's the same with Evocati here. Like, not everyone wants to be Evocati. Plus, some people get Evocati. I don't want to, like, I'm gonna call one name here, and I love Salty Mike. Yeah, you know how much I value his content and him as a duder and all that. But I think Mike is Evocati, but I don't think he ever tests anything. Now, I could be super wrong. He might be testing and he's just like purposefully making it sound like he doesn't care, because if he did like mention things, he would be asked a lot of questions that he's not allowed to answer. But I don't get the feeling that he does, because he has a job, he has his stream, he has his YouTube channel, he has life, wife,
Right.
right? And he's one of our avocados. So it's not that easy to fill up these spots with people who are actually willing to do it for free, because you're not
Yeah.
getting paid for
Yeah.
this, right? It's kind of tough. And even the biggest problem with this is, like, he can test this and maybe prepare mentally for to use this in his content, but he's not even allowed to use it in the content, right? Like, he cannot bring you the news before
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
happens, because then he's not avocado anymore. It's like there's NDA on that. So yeah, I don't know. To be fair, I don't even know how do we get as gaming industry to a point where people are paying to test the games in such big
Oh,
numbers, and then on top
yeah.
of that without incentive. But those who
I,
do,
I
I mean, thank you. I
at
don't know.
the risk of sending us off on another huge tangent, I think in part it's just because games are getting bigger and more complex to the point where like internal QA just can't can't like physically cannot, fully test a product like that. But
I
yeah.
guess, yeah. At least before we were kind of. I remember testing Albion Online, and I still have like a plaque in my house, and I think a donkey or something, which you can't get anymore. Like, everyone's riding their horses, and I have a tiny donkey. Like, it's the same speed, and like, I have to be careful because I can lose it in combat, and it's full loot game. And
Right. Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
I have two actually. I looted someone else's. So, but like, maybe Star Citizen will do something. Well, you're gonna get the badge on the fucking, what's the name, Spectrum.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
why I think they should kind of incentivize people to do it. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll see. I mean, ultimately, like I said, at the end of the day, it'll be up to them to decide whether or not they actually need more bodies in there. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there were some good ideas in there personally. I especially would like. Well, never mind. I guess that's just Theaters of War, but I was gonna say I especially like the idea of like incentivizing people to PvP in there by, like having a
Mm,
leaderboard
mm.
that and like kind of just, like, getting people in there who are PvP focused by offering them all the PvP that they want in the PU, but have such a hard time getting.
Honestly,
But
man,
yeah,
I think just having the regular 4 cycles on PTU plus whatever needs to be done without having it on PU
yeah,
would
yeah, yeah,
probably m- make it so that more people are going there and these people
yeah.
willing to expose themselves to
Even
chaos.
if it's just them popping in for a couple hours here
Doesn't
and
matter.
there to experience the new feature, right? And
And
or
then
the
you
new
can
ship
always
or
get pissed off
something.
there and
Yeah,
come back to PU where you still have 315.
and where you don't
It
get
works.
30Ks and
Yeah,
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 stuff like that.
exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
But we could be wrong, of course, because we
We're
are not
armchair devs.
developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if we were, we're not working for CAG. So yeah, but I would like to hear more people like expand on this. I know, I don't know. I don't think CAG is watching our podcast, which kind of shame because we did have a couple of, you know, like Pisces as a loner for
Yeah,
for
yeah,
every starter ship. I think that's something they could easily do and just give a new player so much better experience and some other
totally.
ideas like that. Maybe someday they're gonna watch it. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I would like it between us, you, Maso, and me, and you guys as our community. I'd like to see ideas, because that's what Star Citizen is the best of. Just like brainstorming about it and proving the other person wrong, or or agreeing with a good idea. Like that's the best part of Star Citizen. As we always say, it's more fun um, talking about it and playing right now, which is normal because it's in beta. Oh, sorry, alpha. I wish it was in beta, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too.
You know
Yeah,
what? Short episode, but man, I had fun. It was very chill for me.
well, I honestly like going into this, I was like, oh my God, what are we even gonna talk about? Like, I don't want to talk about Jumptown. Everybody's talked about Jumptown, but we did end up kind of like at least kind of able to give our takes and like, on it. So yeah, it was okay. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have any like zero effort for this week or anything or
Oh, I did not even think
this
you would
episode,
bring it
but
up because we did not bring it up before
yeah,
the show. We don't have
yeah,
Q&A because this time we decided not to do it live. Um,
no
so
reason. I just didn't feel like it. So there.
I mean that's an option, kind of.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think we're ready to sign ourselves off. No promise for the next episode for several reasons. One is I don't know when I'm gonna get relocated, so that's like in the air. I'm pretty sure I've covered most of the stuff with like I'm probably gonna have a laptop that will be able to to do a podcast. However, I don't know if I'm gonna have proper internet for that or not. So everything is kind of in the air about that when I do get relocated. There's not much content coming out of CAG right now, anyways. Um, and then therefore we just can't really promise anything right now.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. And follow Twitters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're subscribed to the channel, you actually see whenever we push the new one. Yeah, if you
I don't know
if
if I
you
should
want to
ask you
sign us
this
off.
on I don't know if I should ask you this on camera or whatever, but when are you like because I know like it depends on how long the paperwork's going to take and stuff like that, but is there like an estimation for when you're going to be relocating or
I don't
no,
I don't
still
have it.
just
I
all
don't
up in
have
the
it.
air?
You can ask me.
Okay.
These are not secrets or anything. The moment I get visa, I'm going to Czech Republic and I'm starting to work day one. They were just waiting for this to happen, and me in the first place can't wait to meet the team and start working because I'm actually super excited about this job. But unfortunately, that's the way with this kind of paperwork. So I'm having Thursday, this upcoming Thursday. So from the day of recording in 4 days, I have a meeting in the embassy, and then I have to wait for them to either give me a visa or not. After that, I need to do a medical here, and once I'm done with the medical, I'm clear to go there, do another medical in Czech Republic, and start working. So, but no, it
Hmm.
could be like a week, or it could be two
Could be a
months. I
month.
literally
Yeah.
have no clue. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, follow us on Twitter or whatever, and we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
If you are watching this and you like this sort of thing, um, throw us a like and a subscribe. We don't really do anything for the algorithm. We just kind of, it just feels good. Feels good to
Yep.
see that go up. If you have ideas for PTU or want to make any sort of comments that, on anything that we've kind of touched on, we typically have some decent discussions going in our comment section. So throw those down below. And
We
yeah.
still read all the YouTube comments. There's not that many, and they're not very. They're not brutal. YouTube is known for the comment brutality. The first
we
rule is like when your channel starts growing, stop reading comments. You're not there.
yeah.
You read every comment, reply to all of them, and it's just fun to talk to you guys. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Other than that, yeah, if you want to kind of like keep posted on when the next episode is going to be coming out or anything like that, you can follow us on Twitter. Like I said, I'm not really posting much Star Citizen stuff these days. Mostly just stupid memes and lizard pictures
Dragons,
or
real
other
life dragons.
weird animals. I have a lot of animals.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we'll typically give you a heads up if we're going to put an episode out or fire a link out that way. So if you want to follow along, do so.
That's the way to do it. All right. Thank you for watching this one, guys. Have a great rest of your week or 2 weeks, and we'll see you when we see you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.